Hey, what is going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas with you. We are seeing something extremely remarkable, and remarkable in a bad way, as we clearly see on your screen. And if you're living in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, you know what we've been up against over the past several hours, really since yesterday, and now on full display with several ugly looking tornado warnings and a couple of confirmed tornadoes on the ground right now. That is where we're going to focus our attention on in the short term. And then once we hopefully try to quiet things down, but this does not look like that is going to be the case. A potentially dangerous situation, PDS tornado watch in effect for most of Mississippi, and that's going to extend into Alabama a little bit as well. Those are your highest end watches there, indicating that that's the time to really change your plans, to think about altering your plans for the day. Certainly, if you were planning on going out anywhere in Mississippi or Alabama where we are under that watch, that includes us in Louisiana as well, again, this is not the day to go out shopping. This is not the day to go over a friend's house. As soon as that moderate risk was triggered by the Storm Prediction Center earlier this morning, we put that out in our community page. That is a plan-altering designation there from the National Weather Service, because we have a very juiced environment. We were talking about it yesterday when we were live. Ethan, what's going on, my man? Absolutely insane. It's insane on a normal day. It is December. It makes things even crazier out there. So we're going to get right in here. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground. We're going to start our analysis here just to the east of Ellisville. I see where we have these different colored purples. When the warning goes purple, that means we have the observed tag on that. I am going to every now and then look over to the other screens and look at some of the official reports coming in. This is a very ugly looking tornado. Let's go to the correlation coefficient. The good thing is there, we're not seeing that debris signature anymore. Maybe, just maybe, that was showing signs of lifting a little bit. Let us go just looking at some of the reports. Please, if you're just joining us, let me know where you are watching from as we are watching this tornado outbreak unfold. Ethan, if you're still on, you're asking about what is an outbreak. And while there's no set number to qualify as an outbreak, when we have this many tornado warnings in effect at one time with observed tornadoes, this is basically your outbreak. All right, so where we have, I'm going to turn back on the regular radar. Let's go back into our toolbox, switch things back over. This is, again, truly remarkable. I have no words. We have a supercell thunderstorm in northeast of Taylorsville. That is going to be moving off towards the north and east. This is the one here that is of most concern. That is where we have the observed tornado tag. And if I have anybody watching from Mississippi or Louisiana, please let me know, and we can kind of go through. I know we have some friends in Hattiesburg that are subscribers to the channel. We still have an active tornado warning. This is at least the second one of the day as well. Looks like we have a storm chaser on the storm near I-84 northeast of Laurel. So that's going to be this right here with that confirmed tornado. So this is, yeah, this is really ugly. We have a strong tornado vortex signature right here. So if you're watching in Shabuda, Mississippi, do be on the lookout for that. We go back to bring up some of your comments. Ethan, these are going to last well into the night. We have a PDS tornado watch in effect until 8 o'clock Central Time. I would not be surprised if this is extended further. Maybe not the PDS portion of this watch, but I would expect these, and I'll try to bring up future radar in a little bit when we hopefully quiet things down a little bit. In and around Heidelberg, we have tornado warning in effect. Very strong rotation right in here. Again, Pashuta, make sure that you are in your safe place. Again, interior room, lowest level of your home. If you're in a mobile home, you got to get out. You got to get to a shelter. We had, I think, north of 24 people injured last night when we were tracking these live, and a tornado went right on through a mobile home community. So again, if you are watching from a mobile home park, this is extremely serious. It's pretty much unsurvivable if a tornado, even a weak one, hits a mobile home. It's the absolute one of the worst places to be. So you need to get out of there, and you need to get into, hopefully your community has a shelter. A lot of them do. It's not guaranteed, but if you do, you're going to have to get out. That is way too thick. Let me delete that. Let me back this up. Let me get back down to where the most significant tornado of the afternoon, at least right now, we have that dropout again of the correlation coefficient. We likely have a tornado debris signature redeveloping on that storm, meaning that the radar is seeing the debris kind of being lofted up into this system. And just, again, checking some things in conversations with the National Weather Service and some storm chasers that are, at least one storm chaser is intercepting this storm right here. I mean, there's just a cluster. It is very, very dangerous to be chasing out there. The chasers know the risk, especially in this area. It's much easier to do in the plains. The road network is awful out there, as chasers know, but there's terrain, there's trees, there's a lot more stuff to get in the way when you're talking about Mississippi. But if you are just joining us, welcome to the stream. Again, a very ugly, dangerous situation unfolding for us in Mississippi right now. We have tornado vortex signatures all over the place. That means that we have strong rotation being picked up on radar. We at least have one tornado on the ground. There could be more at least are exhibiting that look with us this afternoon, but there's at least one confirmed by radar and by ground confirmation. Here is that supercell right in there. Hey, what's going on again? I remember you from yesterday. I can't remember, if you refresh my memory, where your family was. Are they in Alabama or are they in Mississippi? I think it was Alabama, but forgive me for that. We have had a lot of people on, but I remember you saying that you had family down in this part, so we can go check in on them if they are Mississippi. The threat for Alabama. Okay, that's what it was. Thank you very much, and I apologize for not remembering that, where exactly that was. At this time, it is quiet there, but that will likely change a little while later into the evening tonight. All right, we've got some storm chasers moving back into the Jasper area. Hattiesburg, I know one of our friends last night, supporter of this channel, is in Hattiesburg. There were a couple of tornado warnings already in Hattiesburg. It looks like there was a report. It looks like a funnel cloud, so maybe this didn't touch down in Hattiesburg. We are hoping, and I hope our friend from Hattiesburg does get back on and finds us on the live stream again, so we can make sure that he is okay. Just looking at some of the stuff. Every now and then I'm just going to, if you see me stop and look over to my right, I am checking. We have what's called the National Weather Service chat. We have a direct line to the National Weather Service, the entity responsible for issuing warnings. There's also some ham radio operators, some storm chasers in here as well. Involved in this chat. So every now and then I'm just going to glance over and look at that while we have kind of, I don't want to say a lull. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 active tornado warnings, 1 confirmed tornado. Now, one of the things here is, we talked about this yesterday, that in order for these to get really, really strong and beefy and big, that they kind of need to be by themselves a little bit. They need to be isolated from one another. So the most concerning tornado warnings at this time are going to be out on the leading edge here. So certainly the one where we have the confirmation. Back here, though, the storm needs to kind of pull in some warm air, not rain-cooled, stable air. And that's what these storms that are out here are going to find themselves in. So I'm not saying that the threat is 0, but the highest opportunity for these storms to get big, strong, and become those long-tracked, strong tornadoes are going to be out on the leading edge here. If you are watching from Jackson, Mississippi, our severe weather threat is over. We are up here. We have that flash flood threat ongoing from the very heavy rain that fell earlier. But by and large, our severe weather threat is over in Jackson, Mississippi. Let me turn my telestration back off and head back up to the Birmingham, Alabama radar to try to look at what's going on the northern end here. It takes a second for these to load, so I'm going to glance back over here. And we are pretty far away from the radar picture. So then we're going to go back down to the Jackson, Mississippi radar. And again, if you're watching from Jackson, our severe weather threat has come to an end. Everything is now back off to the east, where you're seeing this purple color show up. That is where we have the confirmation of a tornado. Let me turn on the velocity mode and see what we have spinning in here. No doubt, this is a little broad northeast of Heidelberg, but certainly we have very strong winds. These reds and greens, it looks like Christmas. Again, it's not pretty when you see them butted up together. That is the wind going toward the radar in green, the wind blowing away from the radar in red, and that's what we have going on right in and about here, right in and about here. So there is your tornado vortex signature. There is your rotation. So Pachuta, if you're watching from there, Stonewall, Quitman, Mississippi, safe places right now. If you know of anybody in this area, I'm sure by now that they know what is going on, that there is a straight up tornado outbreak in December 14th going on. Unfortunately, this could be one of those days that is remembered for a long time. I'm going to use the word good news lightly here, that out of all of these, that we only have ground truth on one of them, but some very strong winds are going to be possible even if we don't have the tornado actually reach the ground. Welcome to everybody that's just joining the live stream. If you are just finding the channel for the first time, I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, and we talk and track all things weather. Unfortunately, the weather has turned extremely dangerous today. Moderate risk for severe weather. We have a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch, in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. And again, I mentioned this off the top of the live stream, but when a PDS tornado watch is issued, that is when you alter your plan. So if you are watching from Mississippi, if you are watching from certainly western Alabama, this is the time now where you drop everything and you cancel your plans for the evening. I know that sounds dramatic, but that is why there is such a thing as a particularly dangerous situation, because this is a dangerous, life-threatening situation where you do not want to be caught out on the roads with these things going on. You do not want to be in a warehouse. You do not want to be in a shopping center when these kind of situations are happening. If you remember Mayfield, Kentucky last December, of course, at the Amazon warehouse, those things are not strong. So if you know anybody that's living in a warehouse, or working in a warehouse, I should say, you want to make sure you give them a call. They may not be paying attention to the weather. It's one of those situations. Again, it is your plan-altering impact day, where if you had plans to go to a friend's house this evening, cancel them. Again, I know it sounds dramatic, but it literally could save your life when we have all of these tornado warnings in play, with one at least on the ground right now. That one continues to be right here. We are going to turn on the correlation coefficient. I'm going to turn back on the regular radar and see if that updates for us. Thank you to all of those who have found this channel, found this stream. For everybody that's just joining us, welcome to the channel. Please post where you are watching in the comments. Hey, Weather Watcher, good to see you. It's crazy. It is crazy the amount of tornado warnings. The good thing is, again, I use good loosely here, that now that we have so many big supercells out there, they might be competing with each other for the energy, for the juice in the atmosphere. I use that loosely. We have a ton of tornado warnings. I'm just trying to look for the positive, but we are going to alert you, of course, where these are going for. I keep on saying before, I know we have, yeah. So, and again, if we're looking for the positive when you have this many tornado warnings, and there are a lot of them, we haven't seen the real big one yet. Thankfully, there was one we at least know on the ground that likely did some damage. It does. So here's the deal. Anything, when you're looking at these outbreaks, we love whenever they blob out, as I like to call it. We have a giant blob right in here. It's just like a bunch of puppies competing for food or something like that, or a bunch of fish in a pond when you throw into the koi pond, you throw the fish food in. Some of the fish are going to miss out because there are bigger fishes in the pond. That is what is my hope here, is that we are starting to see some of these tornadoes back here. There's no way that they're going to be able to sustain themselves. They need to have warm inflow being ingested into the storm. All of this now, that especially this one back to the west of Collins, let's take a look at that. Certainly not seeing a debris signature on there. It doesn't mean that there's nothing going on. We do still have some very decent rotation in and around Mount Olive. Putting a timer on there. Prentice, we are up again at about 127. Mount Olive, again, this is going to be riding through in the next few minutes. As you see right in here, let me get back into our chat room. So in Petal, we are unfortunately from emergency management getting structural damage to houses being reported. We had, I just saw a picture of that actual tornado from Laurel on the Twitter. So where somebody reported this wall cloud, it did touch down. So that's going to be another confirmed tornado, and that's what we were seeing right here. In Pachuta, we gave you that heads up before. This is a little broad, but again, we do have that tight couplet, or a couplet. There's definitely some rotation here that is away from the radar, that is toward the radar, as we are seeing that as we speak. Yeah, and again, I'm looking for any kind of positive. We are certainly going to tell it like it is, and we are going to alert you, but I don't want to be completely doom and gloom. It's hard not to be in a major outbreak like this when we have warnings everywhere. But if there is a positive to this right now in a very ugly situation, is that we do have all of this stuff back by Philadelphia, into Union, into Forest, back to Puckett, McGee, even where we have this active tornado warning just to the west of us in Collins. We have it congealing, blobbing out. They're competing for the energy. If we are, what is going to be of concern now, and Weather Watcher mentioned this in the chat just a little bit ago, we just showed that, that the PDS tornado watch does go into Mobile, that is going to be because look at this guy in around Waynesboro. It's by itself. It's hanging off of that blob. We'll watch in and around Wiggins, McLean. A little bit later on, over the next couple of hours, that's going to be the next thing to take a look at. I'm going to switch to the New Orleans radar just north of Lake Pontchartrain here to see what we have popping, because I do think this is going to be the next area of concern. While it does look very concerning, I'm not seeing the tornadic debris signature like we had a little bit ago on most of them. Let me check out the chat here. So it looks like this is a new one now. And so, okay, so here's the deal. And I'm going to get to Hattiesburg. We have a brand new tornado warning for Hattiesburg. And I know we have one of our friends here. I don't know if he's with us in the chat at this time, but he lives in around Hattiesburg. This is the third tornado warning now of the day, maybe even the fourth. There was one earlier today. So an ugly situation back again in Hattiesburg. But this is precisely what I was talking about. This is New Orleans. I want to show you this real quick because this is going to be where we're going to transition to the main long track tornado threat over the next hour or two. Here is New Orleans. This is Lake Pontchartrain. Here is Slidell, and that's where the radar is at. Right in and around Lumberton, Mississippi. Look at these guys here. To the west of Wiggins and towards I-59. Then we have Lumberton and Purvis. Okay, these guys here are a little isolated from all of this mess back here, even by Covington, Louisiana. We do have some rain out ahead of it, but by and large, these guys are by themselves and they are on the leading edge of the blob. So we are really going to watch to see if this thing in and around Covington and all of that as well. Let me get back into the velocity mode on this. And so right now, in and around Covington, we do have a broad rotation. Let's get back up to this Hattiesburg cell. Let me get to the Jackson radar. Absolutely. No, and that is precisely the reason why we have that particularly dangerous situation. I can't stress it enough that if you are tuning in from Mississippi, eastern Louisiana, in and around New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Mobile, Alabama, western Alabama, this is the time to alter your plans. This is the time where if you were planning on going out to dinner tonight, cancel those plans. The chances of you getting hit by an actual tornado are likely low in the grand scheme of things. But the probability for tornadoes, as we are clearly seeing here, this environment is primed. It's a time, again, where you do not want to be out. For those just joining us, welcome. I would love to know where you're tuning in from. If you are concerned about family or friends living in this area, post that in the chat. We will go check in on them. If you are living in this area, I would love to know about it. And again, we can give you the best information. We can zoom into where you are and track these in real time. Just remarkable what is going on here. All right, let's see. As I am doing this, please post in the comments where you are watching from. All right, let's see here. Getting reports. So you see this guy here. We just got a report from a storm chaser in Wayne County of very strong rotation. Of course, we can see that on radar. That is going to be right here. Very strong rotation. I don't know if he's on that per se. Let me go check to see. Yeah, and look at this. I mean, they're going to have to, they'll reissue this. So if you're watching from, or if you know anybody watching from Cuba, Alabama, I believe that's over the line now. Let me just zoom out just to make sure that I'm in the right spot. Yes. So we put on, so Cuba, we're going to be up at about 216. Probably before that, these things are racing at about 35, 40 miles an hour. So in the next 15 minutes or so, Cuba, be in your safe place. York as well, and to Livingston as well. This is coming in your direction. We are likely going to see this tornado warning extended down I-20 because of that intense rotation that we are seeing here. Again, nothing to play around with. This is a very serious tornado warning. Too hard to confirm at this time whether it's not. Again, it's getting that look. It's getting the dovetail, so we have that supercell look. In and around Hattiesburg, again, my gosh. Just a very awful situation. And this is exactly what we were talking about. These storms now that are really ramping up are on where we're not seeing that blob out. It was Weather Watcher mentioned again that we had the very tight, the very good environment for these long track supercells. We are seeing that right now. Again, anybody watching from Shibuya, safe place now. Don't waste any time. If you know anybody that is living here, tell them to get into the safe place. Give them a call. I would hope that they would know what's going on. But again, this is something that is extremely serious. We have a new tornado warning, I believe, here that was just issued northeast of Bay Springs, Mississippi. Very tight rotation here around Stonewall, Mississippi. This is ugly here. This is the one that we were just looking at. And they did extend that. I think that they extended that. Yes, this is the one that just issued here. I believe the National Weather Service in Birmingham takes over the state line. And that's why you see the storms right up, or the warnings go right up to the line. But this is a very ugly looking tornado warning. Still not presenting a lot of, boy. Okay, so while we are looking at this too, if I have anybody watching from, again, southwest of Tuscaloosa, Camden, down to Mobile, Alabama, through New Orleans, the worst of the weather has yet to come in your direction. But there is a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch, in effect. If you have plans to go out to dinner tonight, cancel those plans. I keep on saying that sounds extreme. In an event like this is your weather, this is your plan-altering kind of day where you do not want to be out on the road. If you live in a mobile home, think about where you are going to go in the event a tornado warning is issued. We're going to be watching for cells to pop. So, for instance, this one to the west of Wiggins, it's by itself. So this one could eventually become ugly. We're going to watch that as well. The environment is extremely primed. We have that hook right there to the west of Waynesboro. Let's get back into Hattiesburg. Again, for at least the third time today, we are under a tornado warning. Very strong rotation. I have not gotten any confirmation here that but north of Hattiesburg, we're watching that closely for you. Let's put a tracker on this. And again, this is going to get into Heidelberg again. at about 242. Sandersville at about 232. And just like what we were seeing yesterday, these are kind of training supercells. They're going to go over the same place. So if you're watching from Shibuya, if you're watching from Heidelberg, we could be under a tornado warning, and then we will see that tornado warning expire and then get hit by another one as well. Just a very active day. And again, as expected, this is fortunately well forecast, but unfortunately well forecast. Fortunate in the sense that this was able to be there. It is my hope that these were taken seriously. This day was taken seriously by schools, by any kind of after-school activities. Again, this is the day that you alter your plans. I cannot stress that enough. And in the areas where we have yet to see the severe weather and yet to see the tornado outbreak in western Alabama, in extreme eastern Mississippi, east of Hattiesburg, and then toward Mobile, Alabama, this is where we need to alter our plans for the next couple of hours. Again, you don't want to be leaving your homes. You don't want to be going into department stores. You don't want to be going to into those big buildings that aren't very strong and certainly can't withstand a tornado and do not offer really any protection from a tornado as well. Alrighty, guys, we are going to reset here. We don't have anything confirmed, but a lot of spin, and that could be... I mean, this continues to get bright to the west of Waynesboro. Let's check in on that again. Still not showing up on the debris channel. Does not mean it's not on the ground. But we certainly have the rotation. I'm just going to look at some other reports here. Stand by. Just going to check some things out. Welcome to the channel. If you are just finding us, to see we have some new people watching. Thank you for tuning in. Unfortunately, we're talking under these circumstances where we have several tornado warnings, and that's an understatement. Let me know where you are watching from. If you're from this area, if you're living in this area or know somebody in this area, please let me know in the comments. Then we can kind of get down and kind of hyper forecast there where these things are going and if you're safe or if you need to take cover. We were doing that a lot yesterday. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're finding us for the first time, I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. We track the weather. This is a weather channel. We would love to have you on board. And again, we're going to be live for at least the next couple of hours here as we continue to track these supercell thunderstorms that have the capability and have had the history. I will yell. I promise. I promise I will do that. So, again, thank you for finding us. We've got you covered. We are watching that. It shouldn't be until later on this evening. I'm sure that your family knows by now. But if they do have plans tonight, make sure that they cancel those plans. We do not want them out in this by any means. And I don't think we are, at least right now, included in that tornado watch. I'm going to turn on that tornado watch just because this is, normally I don't show watches in it because we are doing that, but this is one of those significant watches, a particularly dangerous situation tornado watch. And you see that here highlighted in purple. So We are not included in that in Helena, Alabama. It does not mean it's not going to be extended. It has a shot to do so. A little bit later on tonight, it may not be a PDS watch, but the environment is still very good. We are still in that heightened risk area through central Alabama, but Selma, Monroeville, into Jackson, that's Jackson, Alabama, and then into Mobile, and then right along the Florida-Alabama border. That is a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. Let me see. Just have a new update from the Storm Prediction Center, a new convective outlook. That's those outlooks, the marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, and high. We're in that moderate risk, that 4 out of 5 risk area on the severe weather scale. So again, it's extremely rare for December to be dealing with this. Now, the good news is, again, I want to be clear, I am using good news lightly. I'm using good news lightly that we're not seeing a lot of damage reports coming in. I believe this one was from earlier. Yeah, the funnel cloud to the west of Hattiesburg. As strong as these things are rotating, it's surprising that we're not seeing damage. I'm thankful they could just be delayed, but we do have chasers out there, and we do have people out there. So a new report just coming in from a storm chaser here. That one that we were watching, let me back it up. I believe it was this one here. Storm chaser was on it, or at least north of it, just drove down south. No tornado or damage whenever they crossed 84. Large funnel cloud in Wayne County. And I believe it's still that one here in Wayne County. So again, if you are from there, yeah, Wayne County. Right here. So the report now is that there is a large funnel cloud on this cell. And it's rotating rapidly. So again, this is where storm chasers are vital. It's a very dangerous job. It's a very dangerous thing to do. But we appreciate everybody that's out there. And if any storm chasers are watching, thank you for what you do. Because again, that ground truth is extremely vital. All right, guys, for those that are just joining, welcome to the channel. I wish that we were talking under better circumstances. It looks like the tornado warning of most concern at this point, and we have several. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 active tornado warnings. 7 of those are in Mississippi. 1 of those is in eastern or western Alabama. That includes York. And that is because of a tornado warned storm that is not even in your area yet. I'm going to bust out the telestration here. This is the rotation that we are watching. It is moving towards Cuba, towards York, and towards Livingston. We were looking at that one earlier, and we gave you that early heads up even before that warning was issued from the National Weather Service. And again, let me get you the more up-to-date ETA there. Cuba coming up at about 2:16. Again, these times that are showing up on your screen are for Eastern time. So it's 2:27 in York. Livingston about 2:40. And then about 2:50. A little bit further down the road as well into that marker. We have reports in Wayne County. We have a storm chaser on this, and you can see the very strong rotation. And again, radar technology, you can't always confirm it because it depends upon how far or how close the storms are to the radar. But storm chasers are very vital. And he had mentioned about strong rotation, and we can see that here. There's no tornado right now. I am getting the reports from that gentleman in the Weather Service chat. We're linked into that. Not seeing any dropout in correlation coefficients, so we're not looking at any kind of damage or debris being lofted up. There is a report, though, and a new tornado warning was just issued. So just as we were about to say, Shibuya, again, we were under a tornado warning. Get back in your safe place. This storm here is capable of producing a tornado at any moment. Storm Chaser on this cell has indicated that it is rapidly rotating, this storm, and it is producing a funnel cloud. So at any time when it finds the exact environment that it likes for this thing to drop to the ground, it's going to do so. So I want you to know that. You need to know that. And at any time, we could have a tornado on the ground near Shibuya, Mississippi. We're going to go down towards Ellisville. I believe this is a new tornado warning. All right. Looking back into the chat. All right, so again, there are reports of no damage with the particular cells that we are watching right now. The cell of main concern here, I'm going to check that one near Purvis in just a bit, is Shibuya, just to the south and west. We have that little donut hole here, and we do have, again, confirmation that this is rotating and has at least produced a funnel cloud at some point in its life, just moments ago. So again, this is imminent. So Shibuya, again, make sure that you are in your safe place. I know we were just there. I know we came back out most likely, but we need to get back in there again because we have the likelihood of a very, very strong tornado. Let's see here. All right, so the deal is we are looking for purple. The purple is the most significant. That big, pay no attention to that big purple box. I will turn that back off. This is the particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. This is going to go and stay in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. So it's a long night ahead, a long afternoon and early evening ahead, as we're going to have the opportunity in Selma, Beatrice, Monroeville, Jackson, Alabama, Thomasville, Linden, Demopolis, for destructive tornadoes. I do like what I'm seeing. Certainly, we do have some embedded supercell structures back here. Kind of see that they're west of Collins. It's going to be hard to get those to produce something strong and long-lived. So, again, a relative positive back towards Forest, Philadelphia, Union, Puckett, McGee, Collins even, Columbia. But that tornado watch does continue until 8. That will likely be able to come down early, but I know that's not really the priority of the Weather Service right now, to pull down things early once they pass through, just because the severe weather threat is so high today. And that's something that we are going to be completely watching for the rest of the time that we are with you. Okay, so just in now, we said that we had a storm chaser on this. The tornado is now confirmed here, reporting a tornado southwest of Shibuya within the last 5 minutes. And the Weather Service also acknowledging here that The data isn't great. Again, it's in kind of in between radar sites. We're using Jackson here or Birmingham way out here, so we're kind of in that radar dead zone. But certainly it has looked threatening. A storm chaser has reported that within the last 5 minutes, there has been a tornado touchdown. So Shibuda, you need to be in a safe place. We have a confirmed tornado that a storm chaser is reporting it to be on the ground. Okay, so please take that one seriously. Just looking at more reports coming back in. If you are just joining us in the chat room, in the live stream, I should say, please, in the chat, post where you're watching from, whether it's from the Deep South, from the Upper Midwest, wherever you are tuning in from. And again, if you're finding us for the first time, please give this a thumbs up. This is a very serious weather situation, and YouTube pushes it out to more people. When it gets those thumbs up, it shows that it is a credible source. Again, if you're joining us or finding us for the first time, meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. And again, we talk and track all things weather together on this channel, and would love to have you on for the ride and talk about the weather when things aren't as serious and destructive. So please consider hitting that subscribe button if you are a fan of nerding out about the weather. Again, today we are unfortunately nerding out on some serious stuff. We do not like this. Multiple supercell thunderstorms, about a dozen tornado warnings in effect. It has not turned purple yet, but reports are that a storm chaser reported a tornado on the ground near Shibuda. Hey, Christine, what's going on? Watching from Lake Charles. We're going to head down in your direction. Take a look at where you are, and I do think the severe threat is over in Lake Charles. It is. So we'll take a look at the radar. Again, we are outside of that PDS watch. All of that ugly, nasty, dangerous, damaging weather is to the east of you in Lake Charles. We just have a few little downpours again. You see where that purple is on the screen. That is the particularly dangerous situation. Tornado watch, that remains in play until 8 o'clock tonight Central Time. Anywhere west of there, the severe threat is over. Hazelhurst, even for us in Macomb. Jackson, Louisiana. Baton Rouge, we're almost done. We are almost done. Maybe about an hour we can give you the all clear, maybe a little bit less. We're going to go to the Slidell radar now, just north of Lake Pontchartrain. Wait for this to load, and we will check out what we have going on in this general area. Yeah, Baton Rouge, I think we're just about done. So if you know anybody in Baton Rouge, again, we are still under that PDS tornado watch, but things are improving weather-wise. We have some nasty weather coming in to Covington, Manville, Pearl River, Slidell, downtown New Orleans itself. The good news is that there are no severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings with this line that's kind of working off in this direction. What we are really going to be watching for, and so far we've not been able to see any new development, and that is, again, a good thing here around Wiggins and Beaumont. But this is really going to be the area, if we get thunderstorms to pop, from Slidell to Waveland to Biloxi to Grand Bay, Alabama, and the Gulf Shores, Alabama, right to the Florida Panhandle. It's going to be right in here that the atmosphere is untapped. There's still a lot of energy to be used, and over the next couple of hours, that severe weather threat is really going to ramp up. So we're going to be watching closely if any supercell thunderstorm or any thunderstorm gets going up in here, because there is going to be a very high probability for these things to turn into supercellular, meaning that they are rotating and will have the potential to drop tornadoes at any moment, kind of like what we saw up near just to the north of Waynesboro a little bit ago, according to a storm chaser there, and right now impacting Shibuda. So hopefully everybody was able to get to their safe place as we've been watching just north of Wayne County for a while. Going to head back over to the chat room just to see if anybody new is tuning in. Welcome if you are here. Again, we talk and track all things weather. If you want to stay up to date on the weather, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you along for the ride. Hit that thumbs up that gets this out to more people so that they can see this live stream and can alert more people what is coming in their direction if they haven't been paying attention. It's a very busy time of year, of course. And the last thing you might be thinking about on December 14th are tornadoes. Even in the South, it's still a rarity to get an outbreak like this in December. It's not that common. It happens, but you may not be paying attention to it because we're talking about the big-time cold in the northern part of the country. It's because of that difference in temperature, though, that we have this massive storm system just rolling across the nation's heartland. We haven't even give a ton of time to the destructive blizzard that's going on in the Northwest or in the Northern Plains. Because of the fact that we do have so many active tornado warnings. Again, from everything that I am seeing here, looks like we're back in the Hattiesburg again. Okay, so this storm report coming in about an hour. It was just populated here, but just came in from about an hour ago of structural damage to houses at the intersection of Pop Runnels Road and Macedonia Road in Petal. Actually, we might have read that one earlier because Petal sounds familiar. That was the one supercell that we were tracking. Okay, so north of Purvis, Hattiesburg, we're back in it again. So for the fourth time today, we are back in a tornado warning. Let's get close to this because it does not look good. It has that look. I don't really see any. I mean, there is a very tight couplet, so tornado vortex signature right in here. Let me turn on the telestrator again to show you. Again, the red is moving away from the tornado. This other color here is moving that way. There's your circulation. You can see the meso, that's the indicating the rotation is there spinning. And that is going to be moving right into Hattiesburg. So if you're watching from Hattiesburg, and I know on this channel we at least have one of our friends in Hattiesburg. So if you are on here, if you are watching, or if you know anybody in and around Hattiesburg, please let them know. We could have a very dangerous situation unfolding here as this cell tries to tighten up, the rotation tries to tighten up as it lifts to the north and east. Again, over the same areas that we've already seen, we are seeing this even tighten up further here. The red indicating the wind going away from the radar, the green toward. There is the spin. And again, a really dangerous situation. So again, if you know of anybody here, share this with them. Call them. Let them know that there is a potentially destructive tornado on the way. We don't have any ground confirmation that that tornado is in fact on the ground. It is trying to, if it has not dropped a tornado at the moment, it is very, very close to doing so. So while we're watching that one, we're going to head back into Louisiana. We are going to head to we are on the Slidell radar. We're going to go back and check out some of the main radar page. Okay, and this is interesting as well. So we mentioned about the potential south and east of that giant blob. If you were with us a couple of minutes ago, you see that bright purple, yellow, or the purple flash there. that is the particularly dangerous situation tornado watch. This is something that we are really going to watch for. This is all untapped environment here where the environment is primed for long track tornadoes. That is why we have that PDS tornado watch in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Look at this. Already out in the northern Gulf of Mexico, we have supercell thunderstorms developing. Let me change my color here so we can highlight this a little better. Right there. Right there. These are going to be pushing onshore. So anybody watching from right along the North Gulf Coast of Louisiana, there are supercell thunderstorms developing out over the Gulf of Mexico. Those are moving in our direction. So please, if you're watching from Chauvin into Galliano, into La Rosse, Port Sulphur, Matthews, eventually getting into New Orleans and Belle Chasse, this is where we're going to be looking over the next probably hour or two for the severe weather threat for us to start increasing. Because we have that line of thunderstorms, our environment has not been worked over. We've been able to build some instability. Let me take off the watch to get that blinking stuff out of the way. Here we are seeing embedded supercells. So they're in the line. They can certainly produce tornadoes. We've got one right there. Got one right there. No warnings on those just yet. And hopefully that's how it stays. But heads up again in New Orleans because that is coming in your direction over the next hour or so. It's going to be these guys here. And let me try to change the radar and see if we can get a better vantage point of those supercells working their way onshore. If you are just joining us, I see we have a bunch of new people in on this live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you are staying safe. That is my first and biggest concern here for anybody that is tuning in as we are tracking this extremely destructive tornado outbreak in Mississippi, Louisiana, and in eventually Alabama. I'm going to turn on the radar again so that we can check in on this cell near Hattiesburg that unfortunately looks really nasty. Let's back this up. Let's turn on some of our other radar tools. My goodness. Yeah, so this is really, really bad. Very strong rotation. Right in here, I'm going to turn on the telestration and we're going to circle this area. Let me see if we have a storm chaser on that to give us some better information. And it looks like all right, there's some other stuff going on near St. Charles, Louisiana. We're going to get there in 1 second. I want to check in on to see if we do have any kind of debris signature or anything like that. There's nothing clear cut showing up. It doesn't mean that there's nothing on the ground right there. If you are just tuning in, wow, so all of your people, man, all 3 states, that's crazy. That's crazy. So over the next hour or so, we'll be up. Thanks for coming back and joining us again, Allie. You've been with us all 3 days since we've been live and doing this. So I appreciate you coming back again to the channel, and I hope that everybody is staying safe as well. Here is, we just mentioned about the new warning near St. Charles here. Let me get back. I know there's a lot of crazy colors right now. Let me do some radar work. I'm going to turn the reflectivity back on, and we're going to go back to the New Orleans radar out of Slidell and kind of take a look at this. This is going to be near Laplace. And and that is why we have a tornado warning. Very, very strong winds. Toward the radar, away from the radar. There is that rotation right in here, and it's eventually going to slide up towards Lake Pontchartrain. We're going to zoom that out. New Orleans, we don't have any warnings just yet. I do want to show you this. Again, this is a very early heads up. I have no idea if this is going to hold together, if these supercells are going to hold together, but the environment is primed for that to happen. Look at all of these supercells off of the Gulf Coast of Louisiana. We have several of them. There's one here that's going to be coming on shore momentarily. We have a few more behind it down in here. We've got another one. So they're everywhere. And as they move onto land, the environment is unfortunately extremely conducive to producing not only tornadoes, but those long track tornadoes. I know I have a bunch of new people now tuning into the live stream. First of all, thank you for coming here and trusting us to give you this best weather information. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. We talk and track all things weather. If you do want to stay up to date with the weather, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button as well, the thumbs up. That'll get this out to more people. But if you're just joining us, I was talking before, and I'm going to stop myself here because now you see that went purple into the Laplace area. So we do have this now as a confirmed tornado just south of Lake Pontchartrain here on Laplace. So let's get back to the velocity. It looked nasty when we just did the thing, and now we do have the confirmed tornado. There we go. This is what you never want to see. This is how you can confirm the tornado on radar. Here is the tornado debris signature popping up when you see that light blue. Again, that is debris being lofted up into the sky from the tornado. So there is a tornado on the ground just to the west of New Orleans, in and around Laplace and Amance, Kelowna. This is right over us, and unfortunately, this is going through your community as we speak. This is approaching I-10 right at Lake Pontchartrain. This is a very dangerous situation. There is a confirmed tornado. There it is right there on the ground just to the south, or on the south side of Laplace there. So do keep that in mind. This is going to be, this is for St. Charles, St. John the Baptist. The tornado was over Mons, so unfortunately, it just went through the community of Mons. So I only hope that this thing was weak and it did not do too much damage, but we are seeing damage lofted up. That is the tornado debris signature that we are seeing. This is going to head towards, or really into, Lake Pontchartrain here momentarily. But this is kind of the first really big cell over the last hour that we have been concerned with. In Louisiana. All right, so now all of a sudden, and again, this is how quickly today is going, and this is where I want to be clear. If you have plans tonight, this is what I was getting into, cancel them. This is a day that you stay home. We have a confirmed tornado getting ready to move through Hattiesburg. So another populated area getting to move through now. So Lauderdale County in Mississippi observed rotation on the ground. Campanachi Road at 19. Okay, so now we are seeing confirmed tornadoes pop up everywhere. So there's the red boxes. Here are the purple boxes. Looks like that one is no longer confirmed over Hattiesburg. This is going to be it right here. And again, this is just to the north of us. Let's see if we can see. No real big debris signature. It is my hope that this does not last long, although here is the embedded supercell. Let me draw this out. You can kind of see that hook right in here, so it's kind of hidden a little bit. But there it is, and again, it is producing a tornado. That is getting that purple color there. When that warning turns purple, that means that The tornado is unfortunately on the ground. All right, let's see here. All right, we have reports of a roof blown off in Lauderdale County. Blown off a trailer here near Tumsuba. So that was from an earlier tornado. And again, if I have anybody new just joining us, please let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from, as we are watching this unfortunate afternoon continue. All right, so we're going to head back down to just to the west of New Orleans, just getting ready to go into Lake Pontchartrain. Here is a confirmed tornado. Again, it has already gone through the town of Mons. Unfortunately, we had that tornado debris signature pop back up. Very, very intense rotation, just ready to cross I-10. A very pronounced. I mean, this is terrible. This is terrible. And there's a lot of colors on your screen, but this is what I'm concerned with. This is how we can confirm and a new tornado warning just popped up down here at the bottom of your screen. We're going to go take a look at that in just a second. But right now, there is where the confirmed tornado is, just getting ready to cross I-10 prior to Lake Pontchartrain. So a very serious situation. There is going to be damage reported. We'll wait to see when those damage reports come in. But just a very nasty, a very serious situation. Let me get down to back over to Lake Pontchartrain, where we are looking at right there. And again, now we're kind of in the marshy area. So that one kind of close, just to the north of the Treesfield Airport. Went over the Mississippi River. Again, there's a myth that tornadoes don't cross bodies of water. They do. That's a big myth. It's not a super highly populated area, as I'm just trying to zoom in and do some little more research here. But it's enough, and it obviously hit something. Hopefully it's just dirt or dust or something that the radar picked up. But this is clearly a tornado on the ground here. And again, it's already been confirmed. Here is the supercell now. Let me get my old illustration off. There is the bow right in here. So the tornado is going to be about right there. I'm going to turn on my other radar products. We're going to go back to the velocity mode, and this is it's so strong. The good news is this is going to be moving over Lake Pontchartrain. Hopefully nobody is on the lake. Again, this is a disgusting tornado here. Crossing I-10. I hope that people were aware that this was in the area, because this was not going to be a good day. This is a very strong tornado. And if anybody was driving, there's I-10. The tornado is literally right there. And there's probably debris across the highway. We can check that out. And yeah, so whatever debris that it picked up near Mons, is dropping it right on I-10. Again, here is I-10, this red line here. Here is Lake Pontchartrain, this line that I'm drawing now. So lake. And then this is all of the debris from that tornado that just went through Mons, just to the south of Laplace. So that is one. We do have a new tornado warning off to the south and east. And unfortunately, this is happening almost just how we said, with this being an untapped environment in this area. So naturally, when these storms start to pop, they're going to have free reign here at all of the juice. I was talking about how if you have a bunch of puppies or a bunch of fish or something in a pond and you throw a handful of fish food in, you have these storms, the fish competing to try to get the fish food. Well, some of the times, the fish loses out. That's what we started to see, thankfully, in Mississippi, where they started competing for the energy. They kind of washed themselves out and kind of blobbed out, as I like to call it. But now in Louisiana, around New Orleans, we don't have that. And anything that starts to pop here is going to have free reign. So I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. This is what we're going to have to watch. Again, if you know anybody in and around New Orleans, I have a friend in New Orleans, and I am going to text him right now because it's not good in here. There's no warning for New Orleans. I do want to be clear about that, but these cells here, just coming on shore, all have the chance to spin as they work in that direction. I'm just going to be like, yo, are you watching the weather? And hopefully he is. And if you know of anybody in this area, in and around New Orleans, please text them. Please let them know. Please give them a call. Because these are moving fast. These have the potential to be very, very strong. And we will see that opportunity continue over the next couple of hours. So I am going to zoom out. Okay, he just texted me back. If you're interested, he is watching the weather, and on the sky cam there, they saw that tornado that went over, that's just about to enter into Lake Pontchartrain. So let's check out that tornado that did do damage, and it looks like now the damage, what was lofted up by this tornado, is now over the lake. So the threat with this tornado near Laplace that went over just to the north of Norco, that threat is now over because the storm is over the lake. So right there, what we just saw, emergency manager reports damage along Schoolhouse Road with a house damaged, power poles and street lights down. And that was from the damage that we just saw, unfortunately, on radar. We're going to go back. I believe they just issued a new tornado warning on the north side. I should say severe thunderstorm warning on the north side of Lake Pontchartrain. That includes Manville. They used the tag tornado possible, though. And what that means is that it's showing signs of rotation. It's not all the way there yet. It's not strong enough to issue a tornado warning to get all of those bells and whistles, but it's close, and you should be treating that tornado warning or that severe thunderstorm warning like it is, in fact, a tornado warning. Let me turn the regular radar back on. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is why you need to be paying very close attention in Manville. All right. We're going to go back into this is a textbook supercell, and this is the exact area that we were just watching. This one could be ugly. They probably should have just went right to tornado warning on this, because look at that. That is a big, big supercell thunderstorm. It's got a lot of juice. This is my fear. This is my fear with that. As this moves out over land, this is all untapped environment. And this is exactly what I'm saying here. All of this is primed for strong, long-lived tornadoes tomorrow, today, right now, in the next hour. So again, if you're watching in Manville, if you know anybody that lives in Manville, Pearl River, Slidell, we need to be reporting that. Please call your friends. Please call your family. I know it's just a severe thunderstorm warning, but this is ugly. They do have the tornado possible tag in here. But this thing, let's look at some of the rotation in here. No damage. This is at a good spot for the radar so we can really see. And this is what we're going to be watching. So we're going to watch this over the next few hours. It is a few minutes. It is broad, and that is the reason why it's getting that supercell. It is a supercell. It's getting that look, as I always like to say. Here is where, and I'll show you again, there's that iconic hook, the hook echo, right in here. And then here is the rotation. We have the wind blowing away from the radar, the wind blowing towards the radar, just like that. Okay, so we're going to be watching that closely. Let me check the... Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. And this is unfortunately going to continue to crank out over the next few hours. We're going to watch for signs to see. It's a little broad right now. There's no tornado vortex signature on it. But it's in an environment really where anything can spin up very, very quickly. Absolutely, we are thinking about everybody. I know we have more damage reports coming in from where we had that. Yeah, St. John 911 receiving reports from St. Charles Parish in the Mons area of house damage from the tornado. So, and unfortunately, we were tracking that real time with you guys right here. Let me zoom out. Let's take a look at what's going on in parts of Mississippi again. We're not forgetting about you in Mississippi. We have another confirmed tornado. So let's get on to this one quickly here. This is going to be to the east of Heidelberg, getting ready to move into Alabama. So we're going to go back to the Jackson, Mississippi radar. We have two confirmed tornadoes. So this is, again, kind of breaking right now. These are the ones that we were watching earlier that had the potential to, I mean, they were showing signs of strong rotation and now have dropped to the ground. I'm waiting for the radar data to load. Again, sometimes it's slow and there's a lot of data to be in here, but here are those tornado warnings. Let's go to, I mean, they don't look that impressive from the velocity side, at least the one near Cuba, although there it is. There's that report of the blown off trailer, and that's what confirmed that tornado from law enforcement. Good question. They can be. This is just crazy. Of course, last year we had the Mayfield tornado even further north in December in Kentucky. But a day like today, I mean, if we end up seeing more of these touch the ground, we're going to verify what a high risk for severe weather would have been in terms of the percentage of those tornadoes. I mean, to see a couplet in several of these, and when I say couplet, this is your tornado vortex signature right here. Let me get the tornado. There's the wind too. There is the wind away. And then there is your rotation right on in there. A very strong couple. Again, it doesn't even matter because this one we know is on the ground. This is confirmed. On the ground tornado. Let me get the telestration off and let's look at this again. Lisman. This is going to pass to the north side of town in just a couple of minutes. So Lisman, Alabama, we are in that tornado warning. It's confirmed right now. Make sure that you are in your safe place. Can't stress that enough. A tornado is on the ground on the Mississippi side of the border. Could cross over. We have, I don't know why there's not a warning on this. To the northwest of Waynesboro. Let me just check to see if maybe the radar data isn't coming in. That is a very intense couplet. And I don't know why there's not a warning on there. There should be. So this is west of Waynesboro. Shibuda, we are up again. I'm just making sure that I'm getting all the fresh data in here. And we are. I am shocked. All right, let's see here. So as you watch this near Waynesboro, Shibuda, we are going to be under the gun yet again. Hattiesburg, again. We are under a tornado warning again. This is a very stressful afternoon for you. I can only imagine. Please, again, I know by this time those people know in Hattiesburg what I really want. If you know anybody that lives in western Alabama, this is where we are up next and where things are going to get really, really dangerous. All right, so we were talking about that cell where I thought that there should have been just a tornado warning issued on that already. The Weather Service has gone ahead and done that. We're going to go back in and check out as we were looking at some of the cells in Mississippi. We watched this tighten up, and here we go. Again, we don't want it to look like Christmas on this map with the reds and the greens together. Okay? That is the wind blowing toward the radar. And that, yeah, that is a telltale sign. Obviously, the 2011 Super Outbreak made that gentleman a legend with the suspenders. He saved a lot of lives that day. Unfortunately, there was so much death and destruction back in the what's called Super Outbreak 2, one of the worst outbreaks of tornadoes on record. And really, since that day, it's been the Deep South that has been the new tornado alley rather than the actual tornado alley. We've seen more of those intense tornadoes into the Deep South rather than back in the plains in Oklahoma and in Texas. And, of course, it's worse that it's that far east because there are more people in this area. At least the plains, they're the plains for a reason. There's a lot of space in between. Here, there's not. So it heightens the probability that we are going to have an impact. All right. We are going to do something. I think this is... Yeah, that is the old one there. Or is that... Hold on. Look at this. This is a new one here. So this is what we're at. Everything that's going up is spinning at this point. Look at this. We have another. This is where we just had damage reported right in here. Right in there. We have another supercell right in here. Again, here is New Orleans. So this is getting close to New Orleans. We are going to inspect this one. Just insane. If you know anybody in Destrehan, Mimosa Park, New Sarpy, they need to be in their safe place right now. Okay, like this is showing signs of strong rotation right in here, going in that direction. I see we have a few new people on the live stream. I first want to welcome you and make sure that you are safe. Again, if you are watching from in and around New Orleans, Mississippi, Alabama, welcome to this channel. Again, we've got you covered here. If you know anybody that lives in this channel, please make sure they know what's going on. It's kind of hard to not know at this point, but you never know, and I would rather be safe than sorry, because we see time and time again that people say, oh, it came without warning. It was highly publicized, and I just know that there's so much going on with Hanukkah and Christmas coming up. The busy holiday season, obviously, in full swing, that people might not be paying attention, and that's okay, but we need them to be paying attention. All right, this situation here to the north of Lake Pontchartrain here is getting worse. This continues to tighten up. The good news is we are not seeing any debris signature just yet. But if you know of anybody in Manville, I do have a friend that lives in Manville. That is now to the north. So the strongest, the most serious part of this storm is now north of Manville. Here, again, I'm going to draw this out. It's kind of hard to see because it's embedded in the line. But there is that supercell thunderstorm. If there was a tornado, it would be sitting right about in here, moving in this direction. So let's zoom this out and let's talk about some of the cities that are in this path. Stand by. I'm going to pull up another map. Again, if you are just finding this channel for the first time as I do this, welcome to the channel. If you like talking and tracking the weather, please subscribe. We would love to have you on board in this weather community. All right, so I'm going to move over to another radar product here, get you a little closer in more detail. This could be an ugly one. This is north of New Orleans, north of Slidell. If you know anybody in Hickory, if you know anybody in Tallahassee, please call them now. Please alert them. This could end up being one of the storms, unfortunately, of the afternoon. Let me see if there is a storm chaser on this. I'm going to go to the weather service here. Oh, man. More calls coming in from Mons, Louisiana. That's just south of Lake Pontchartrain, west of New Orleans. We were tracking that debris signature. We are watching this closely with you guys in real time. Here is 36 through Hickory. Here is 41. I'm going to get this back off. And again, kind of hidden here. This supercell is trying to hide a little bit. There's that notch. Okay, that's the inflow notch right here. So it's sucking in all of that juice, all of that energy. And this is exactly what we were talking about before. If you were with us a little earlier, the situation that kind of helped to pipe down the Mississippi situation, at least on the western side, we had too many storms, thankfully, competing for the same energy. And then they kind of petered out and fizzled out. We have strong tornadoes, at least strong signatures on the Alabama border. We're going to go check in on those in just a second now. But a really serious situation unfolding here northwest of New Orleans, and I think even south. I'm going to turn off the telestration so I can move the map and head back down to New Orleans. Luling and Hanville, Norco. We are under that tornado warning for a little bit. I guess technically we are outside of that tornado warning in Norco, but want you to be taking that seriously. If I turn the telestration back on here, there's the most concerning part. It might have two little nubs on there. Let me do some extra some extra working. It looks like we're watching that kind of wind down a little bit, thankfully, there. But again, you see these little things pop up. That's where we have the damage reports coming in from Mons. Damage reports coming in also around Mons. And again, all of that debris was taken over Lake Pontchartrain. We are going to go back up. And again, here is that this continues to get worse. Let me highlight this a little further. I'm going to check the comments, make sure everybody's doing okay. No one has any questions, so every now and then I'm going to look over. I like to talk to you guys through this as well, as if you're seeing anything different. If certainly if you have anybody living in here, this is what we are concerned with. We do have a very serious situation potentially unfolding here. We've kind of watched this one get stronger together. And this, you see right here, this is the tornado vortex signature. That's not good right there. You saw that bright just in real time. That is a very strong tornado vortex signature. Right, just pop up here. So if we don't have a tornado on the ground, I would think one is imminent. Let me check with there's still no reports of ground truth. Let me look, though, at our tornado debris at the correlation coefficient. That is weird. We're going to go back to this one here, and I'm going to turn on the... Okay, so we're not seeing any of it loft up damage just yet. We're going to be looking, and that's a good thing. But this is a very, very strong tornado. I mean, it's a very, very strong rotation that could lead to a tornado. Again, that is a strong tornado vortex signature, as we call it. If you know anybody, please let them know. All right. We're going to keep this radar product on. There we go. This is confirmed now. If you just saw that in real time, there's the tornado debris signature. So this tornado is, in fact, on the ground. I can confirm that for you right now before we get any kind of spotter truth. This tornado is on the ground and producing damage. What just happened here, we saw that happen in real time. Let me move the map again to kind of zoom this back out. But you see that little bullseye, and let me just double check here. What you need to do in a situation like this, you have to check. Sometimes there's something known as side lobe contamination, but I don't think that is it. That is right where we are seeing. Yeah, that tornado is on the ground, and it is doing damage. That is damage being lofted up into the tornado. Let me pull up a map here. We're going to call out some towns in the vicinity of this thing. So if I have people with me, you know, that is a great, great question. It's one of my biggest pet peeves working in TV. We get that all the time. If we cut into a big game, believe me, this goes out to everybody here. We do not want to cut into your programming. But when the weather is serious like this, and you got to let people know. That's why TV was there, to keep people safe. And unfortunately, we have a very bad situation unfolding here. And that will never... And there you go. Tornado observed now. It is confirmed from the National Weather Service. And again, you saw it here live. We just confirmed that together before the National Weather Service there because of this excellent radar technology that has evolved over the last 10, 15 years or so. So just incredible radar meteorology. I am going to turn on the velocity product here so that we can get a closer look. And we are going to get really close. Again, we're going to, right in here is the tornado. Let me look at... And that is an even bigger tornado vortex signature right on in play And this is going to be moving off to the north and east. Let me see if I can get closer to get some other names to pop up on the map here. I mean, unfortunately, this neighborhood is about to get a direct hit where you see these streets about to get a direct hit from a tornado. I can't stress enough that this is the worst, and this is why meteorologists are breaking into programming. This is like exactly why, of course. I mean, we are literally watching in real time this thing tear up people's lives, and this is honestly the worst part about this job. Is watching this on radar. I will say that time and time again, that there is nothing worse than not being able to do anything to stop that, and knowing that all out in here are all right. Stay with me here. I'm just trying to pull up a map. My goodness. So, Abita Springs. I mean, my gosh, you can clearly see this. Even when I zoom out, that's a lot of damage right in here. Bear with me for 1 second. I'm just going to try to find out, because I don't know the nitty-gritty too well of this area. This is crossed 36, and I mean, the good news is let me get back close. All right, so Abita Springs 36 is right on through there. All right, so Oak Mill Road, that is right here. So Oak Mill Road, Dogwood Road, Oak Knoll Road, Live Oak Loop. Again, I know that I probably don't have anybody on this feed watching this feed that's living here, but unfortunately those houses are being impacted by a large tornado. There is a tornado debris signature. This is continuing to go to the east. Let me get further out ahead of it. And again, just for the sheer chance that somebody, I mean, oh my gosh, look at this. So you see that bright blue there? Those are unfortunately people's homes being seen on the radar. Let me go back to the thing where we probably have a debris. Yeah, there is your debris ball. You might be able to see it better on the other. Just awful. Just awful. All right, for those that are just joining us, welcome to the feed. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. Please share this if you have anybody living in around Talashiq. This is coming up in your direction. I do think you're going to miss the tornado part of it right here. This is a debris ball. We are seeing debris being lofted up into the air. These are unfortunately people's homes. This is heading toward 41. So Highway 41 here. It's terrible. It's the worst feeling in the world. South of Talashiq, again, heads up. Talashik, you need to be in your safe place now. There is a large, damaging, and destructive tornado on the ground getting ready to head in your direction. I'm going to call out some street names again. Velson Polk Road, Laverne Road, Mike Slaughter Road, Edgar Kennedy Road. This is right off of State Road 41, south of Talashik. Again, this is where we have the tornado right there in red. That is a tornado. That's a debris ball. Now it's moving closer. Latest radar scan puts it right here, getting ready to move into Talashik. Again, that's going to be at the 435-41 split. If you know anyone in this area, and we're going to go further north, I know I'm kind of pulling at straws. We don't have too many people on this live stream right now. If you're on this live stream, please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button because it will push out. I know there's probably a lot of other people on YouTube and the local news also doing this, but this is serious. This is going to get outside of the warning here and kind of lift off toward the north. This is disgusting. Let me turn on the velocity product again. This is crazy, crazy strong. Let me get in here with the microscope. 60 miles an hour, and then about 60 miles an hour as well. So the radar is estimating about 120 mile per hour gate-to-gate wind here. So this is a very strong tornado that continues to move through. Let me get the microscope off, and we're going to continue to work further to the north. Go back to the other radar. Just absolutely terrible. Okay. So again, my plea to you is that if you know anybody, there's the debris. I'll get you back to the other radar. It looks like we still have a very strong couplet south of Talashik. Let's check out the debris signature. We still have it. We want this to go away. We still have a tornado on the ground. Let's check in with the National Weather Service here, see if we have anybody in the chat. Okay, so this is going to be 10 miles west of Picayune. It's located near Bush right now, south of Talashik, heading towards Louisiana 41. Embedded in there, we have roads in the way: Mike Slaughter Road, Oak Lane, Edgar Kennedy Road. Again, I know I'm grasping at straws here. I'm just hoping that somebody can alert these people, and I hope that they are watching their local meteorologists here. Laverne Road, Edgar Kennedy Road. We still have, and we're watching these updates come in real time. Again, we are focused on this ball here. It's kind of sliding up into that area and heading toward State Road 41. All right, so Talashik, there's 41. We mentioned a few roads before. I'm going to check our chat room, make sure no one's saying anything here. Again, if you're just finding us, please hit that thumbs up button. This tells YouTube to kind of push this out to more people that are interested in this weather content and potentially life-saving information here, because we have at least one tornado on the ground. I'm going to keep it here. I'm going to use another radar product to look to see what else is going on. That is the biggest name in the game. We're going to take a look south right along the North Gulf Coast in a second. once we clear this threat, and it might be a while, this so far looks to be the tornado of the afternoon, and that's saying something because we have had several big tornadoes today. Waynesboro, just a heads up again in Mississippi. We are back under a tornado warning. That's like our third or fourth warning of the day. That's off to your northwest, so heads up in about 15 to 30 minutes. We have that coming down the pipeline as well. I'm going to take a look at that with you in a second. And then also Lisman. There is Lisman as well pushing on through up there. So the biggest concern here is going to be, again, still Talashiq, as we are watching this out. I'm just trying to locate some more stuff. Bear with me. Again, I'm looking up some roads. If you are just joining us, we are in kind of the middle here. We really haven't stopped since yesterday of that major tornado outbreak. This is no doubt the worst day of the bunch. And it's been ugly in Texas 2 days ago, yesterday in Louisiana, today again in Louisiana. Boy, let me see here. All right, so the good news here is that we have lost that debris signature a little bit. We'll have to see if this is going to cycle, because there's nothing else around, and a lot of times we do see these supercells cycle like this. This just produced major damage just north of State Road 36, just south of Talashiq, into this subdivision here. I mean, we saw the radar picking up the debris from those houses here that was just to the north of Manville. Again, it didn't get going until we got up into here and then kind of drifted up that way. We did have some nasty weather in there, but now the worst is at least over here as that storm kind of pushes back to the east and northeast. I'm going to pull up my other radar screen here. They continued the observed tag on this tornado warning. Let me check in again with the chat. And then back up in Mississippi, we have another confirmed tornado from earlier this afternoon. There's just so many out there, and it's crazy again that it's December. I'm going to bring back the other radar. This is the most concerning cell of, at least that we are tracking right now. Eventually, we're going to be focusing on these guys. I'm hoping that these don't come into fruition, but already here we have a marine warning, and probably for... Yeah, I mean, the potential to produce tornadoes as these come on shore. So here, this is what we're going to be watching in downtown New Orleans. This is not warned yet. This is in the early stages. You see this guy here, just around Lockport. This is going to be drifting up into downtown New Orleans. But this is a supercell. You see the dovetail. There's the hook echo. And then there are the dovetails. So this is a supercell thunderstorm that's in the early stages of developing. It is in a very volatile, very dynamic environment here. It's out by itself, Those are the ones that we do not like, but all of these ones that are getting going southwest of New Orleans is coming your way. So again, if you are happen to be watching from downtown New Orleans, pay close attention to this. It's going to be impossible to determine if this thing drops a tornado. I would imagine a warning is going to come on this very soon that is going to either include downtown New Orleans or be just outside. Here is the rotation. Green going toward the radar. That bluish color going away from the radar. There is your developing tornado vortex signature at this time. So again, momentarily, I would have to think that we're going to have a tornado warning. Maybe not include New Orleans just yet, but it's going to be really, really close. And again, putting this into motion here, just watching these. If you're with us for the last hour or so, coming on through, we were talking about all of these supercells that were just on shore, and then you see it. There's the warning that just popped up, a little delayed on the things. We were calling that out before the official warning was there. And on the south side of New Orleans, that is included. Downtown New Orleans, we are not in this warning yet. I caution, though, that it has that very healthy look. It's a supercell thunderstorm. It's in a very dynamic environment. It is the lone cell in its area. This one is going to have a chance to really beef up, and hopefully this does not produce damage. We're going to check back on that one in just a second. We're going to go back up north of Lake Pontchartrain. This is on the north side of New Orleans, and check in on this one that has a history of producing damage. It looks like a big discombobulated mess now. That's what we like to see. The tornado warning on that continues. Going to check in with the National Weather Service. Yeah, and the National Weather Service noting that as well, that the tornado warning does not include New Orleans just yet, but they caution, again, just like we've been saying, that these things are moving very quick, about 40 to 45 miles an hour. So this is going to be up on downtown New Orleans very, very quickly. We are going to, of course, watch that coming into New Orleans. Never like to see that, especially in a populated area. We're going to go back in Hattiesburg. We're finally quieting things back down a little bit. That is the same tornado report there, these little red markers with the black triangle in there. That is the tornado report from earlier. Waynesboro, again, we mentioned you earlier that we were back under this tornado warning. So heads up in Shibuya, again, that for the third, maybe fourth time of the afternoon, we are back in a tornado warning. I'm trying to switch my radar product back over. We're going to go to the other radar site, the other radar product that I have. We are going to take a look at the radar now out of Jackson, Mississippi, to take a look at what is going on with these cells here. Still just, not just the one. We have one confirmed tornado north of Lake Pontchartrain. We're going to go check that out again. Just want to make sure we don't have anything insane over here. We're going to get back to the reflectivity. We're going to get to the velocity. And then here is our tornado vortex signature on this one, south of Waynesboro. And again, these are going to have the tendency to ride the northern side of that warning area. Keep that in mind. Shibuya, we've been under tornado warnings all day long. That's heading in your direction. I want you to pay close attention in Needham, Alabama, Gilbertown, Alabama, and then eventually back in Lisbon. We just got done with a tornado warning, But these things, again, as just noted, are moving very, very quickly in that direction towards you. So probably in about 30 to 45 minutes, if that holds together, we are going to see the potential there for a tornado warning to continue towards you. The biggest storm of concern is no doubt north of, it looks like they just canceled that warning. Okay, so the tornado of most concern, the tornado warning of most concern has been canceled. So the good news is, again, north of Manville, north of Pearl River, north of Slidell, that warning that was absolutely a huge tornado going through parts of town has been allowed to expire. It kind of ran into other storms again, competed and lost with some of the environment. We are going to really be focused on just south of New Orleans. This is not good. So we are going to be watching this closely here. Of course, there is a tornado warning just south of New Orleans. If you know of anybody in New Orleans, please share this with them. Please hit that thumbs up button on this stream. It tells YouTube to send this out to more people. And more people will get this warning. They'll get this heads up. Carmardel right now, heads up. Again, I don't have a confirmation that this is on the ground, but it is looking, the rotation is very, very strong. Again, we have toward the radar here, away from the radar here. There is your rotation, your tornado vortex signature right on in there. So again, can't stress that enough. If you are watching from New Orleans, we are not in a tornado warning yet. The south side of town is, downtown is not, but a very, very powerful system. I'm going to pull up. We're going to turn back on the Slidell radar, and we're going to inspect to see here. There again, different color table showing the same thing. And again, let me check the comments here. Hey, Ryan, good to see you again. Indiana is still looking good. Virginia, Lauderdale. Hey, how's it going? Selma, Alabama, looking for later tonight. I am a truck driver trying to find out if we need to stop early. The one thing I will say about that is we are still in that particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. I believe that includes Selma still. If you stick with me, I'm going to turn on that watch again. And I mentioned before that this is on a night like tonight. This is where you alter your plans. This is where you think about doing things differently just because we are in that particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. And what that means is basically what is going on here, that the environment is so primed that it is ripe for the development and the sustainment of damaging long-track tornadoes. So do with that what you will. I don't want to tell you what to do, but please be safe out there. And again, I don't want to get in a situation. You see a lot of times trucks being blown over on the highway that are caught in these because this is going to be a rapidly changing situation and it's going to be dark outside at the time that it moves through Selma. If you stick with me, I'll pull up the high-resolution radar as well and kind of give you a better timeline so that you can make the best decision with what you need to do there. But again, until 8 o'clock Central Time, we are under that PDS tornado watch. And again, that's the highest you can get. It means, again, that the conditions are favorable for strong long-track tornadoes. So thank you, Virginia, for finding the stream and checking in. Hey, Mr. Earl, good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Allie, thank you as well for passing that along. Again, while I pull up some of that high-res radar, I'm going to get us back down just south of New Orleans. That is no doubt the biggest area of concern right now. And we see it there. We'll stay on that. It has that supercell look. I'm going to place that right there. You got it, Virginia. No, I think that's the rather be safe than sorry. I mean, you know how dangerous it is, and thank you for all you do as well. We appreciate you. I know we've had a lot of truck drivers find this stream and ask a lot of questions. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate everything you do for us to get the goods around. So thank you. What is going on, Rich? It's good to see you. This is my friend that I was talking about that lives north of New Orleans that I was texting in real time a little bit ago. He works at a TV station in New Orleans, and he was obviously up to date because their station is probably one of the stations that are getting emails from Cutting Into Programming, as some of you were just mentioning there, that it's not a happy time. But again, this is ugly. This is an ugly area right now in terms of the weather. Allie, thank you again very much for doing that. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot for the subscription, and we'll keep you updated. But again, stay safe out there tonight. All right, so we are watching south of New Orleans. Wow, we're going to keep this one parked here. When this turns kind of red, when it turns purple, that is where it becomes confirmed. It's not confirmed right now, but it's looking very healthy. Yeah, and he says, there's no question. I'm going to zoom out real quick before we go back into Mississippi. Look at this. And I don't know if your guys are showing you this yet, because they're, of course, concerned with what is going on the ground and what's damaging. But all of these right here are going to be supercell thunderstorms that are going to have the chance to produce tornadoes out over the Gulf of Mexico, all moving in that direction. There's another one here, right about at the mouth. It's not the mouth of the Mississippi. Let me close this back off, and we're going to move north. Mouth of the Mississippi is a little bit further north. Right around Grand Isle, that is starting to get that look. So Golden Meadow, we are not under a tornado warning just yet. This map does get in the warnings a little bit faster than the other map does. So you see that 6 there. So we have the tornado vortex signature. Shear of 62 knots. So again, it's very healthy, as we've been talking about. So Carmadel, again, no ground confirmation. Let me check back into the chat. Let's go to the New Orleans section. If our friend from Hattiesburg is watching, the tornado threat there, at least in the short term, is over. But we do have some flooding in the downtown area, so we cannot catch a break in Hattiesburg. I think we were under at least 4 tornado warnings today at 4 different times. But we are, this crazy. This would verify, I think, a rare high risk day from the Weather Service. If they would have done that, they would have verified it. It blows my mind. Again, we were expecting this to happen. It's just still so odd in December to see an outbreak like this. So if you are just joining us, my name is Jonathan Kagas, meteorologist here. We're a weather channel, of course. Would love it if you give this a thumbs up if you are finding this information helpful. It allows YouTube to send this out to more people, and it can get this message out if you are just finding us and just tuning in. And I hope you're paying attention to your local news in Louisiana. New Orleans, we are not in the warning just yet, at least downtown New Orleans. But I stress, we need to be paying close attention. Start having your plan ready of knowing where to go. Again, lowest level of your home. Put as many walls in between you and the storm as possible. I always say it sounds weird to put a bike helmet on your head, but most of the injuries and fatalities when it comes to tornadoes are not from being sucked up by the thing. It's from the debris that is blowing around. So again, this is the area of concern. I'm going to take you a little bit further, a little bit closer in here. And just a lot of very strong winds. So Cuba Island. And forgive me from saying these names wrong. Louisiana, love ya. But man, the French, some of the towns are really hard to pronounce. So I apologize in advance, and thank you for sticking with me in that. And feel free to correct me. I will not get offended. I'm just trying to give the best information I can. So please forgive me there. And if you guys are just joining us again, and if you love tracking the weather, we talk about the weather all the time. I hate that we're talking about this. I love that if we could talk under better circumstances someday. We'd love to have you on board as we track the weather together. So please hit that subscribe button and certainly hit the thumbs up button again if you were finding that. That's the most important thing right now. YouTube sends out the video more if it gets more likes. It lets you know that it's a credible stream. And can potentially get this out to people that may be looking for information. Just right off the bat, this is a nasty little couplet here. This is east of Lumberton. Just south of Hattiesburg again. Let me put this into motion real quick. Make sure we're not going to see another tornado warning in Hattiesburg. It looks like it's going to stay on the south side of Hattiesburg, but this is a very strong couplet. Again, not confirmed tornado. It doesn't have to be, though, to produce a tornado. It obviously confirmed after. But Pistol Ridge into Carnes. Be very, very careful. Again, safe place now into Brooklyn. And that's Brooklyn, Mississippi. Not New York. This is going to be closing in on State Road 49, right in Brooklyn again. Rock Hill, we are included in it this morning. I'm going to put this into motion to kind of show you the way, show you where this is going here. And this is lifting up to the north. So if we were to get this confirmed, if this does produce a tornado, get my telestrations off here. Pistol Ridge, this is over us right now. Same thing for Young. There is where the tornado would be. It's moving off in this direction. So Brooklyn into Curry, we're going to be up in about 15 to 20 minutes. Hey, my man, I've been thinking about you all day. We've been talking about Hattiesburg. My gosh, has it been a busy day for you. Please let me know how you're doing. If your property is okay, friends and family, yourself okay. We've been on here for about 3 out of the 4 or 5 tornado warnings that Hattiesburg has been under. The threat is gradually going to come down, but we are still watching one on the south side of Hattiesburg. So again, I know you know where Hattiesburg is, but there's Hattiesburg. Here is where the latest tornado warning is. It's drifting up in that direction, closer in between Hattiesburg and Beaumont. So we're going to be in that general area, and I don't think this one is coming in to Hattiesburg. We are watching very, very closely. That's crazy. I am glad that you are okay. I can't even imagine. I was looking at it this morning, and we had that one tornado warning out. And that was before, obviously, this quote-unquote main event that we are seeing unfold right now. And we're going to continue to keep this like this for the next several hours. Again, that particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch, continues until 8 o'clock, and we have all of this junk down here coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. All right, I want to check. We're still looking north of Golden Meadow. That's going to be a supercell, so we're watching that closely. We're going to check in on the cell southwest of Gretna, Algiers, and downtown New Orleans. So can't stress that enough. I appreciate it. Thank you again for coming back and checking in with us and kind of tracking these with you. These are really affecting, again, you personally. And again, I can't even imagine the exhausting day that you and everybody else in Mississippi and Louisiana are having, especially the places, again, like Hattiesburg, that have seen 4 or 5 tornado warnings since early this morning. It's insane. Let me get to the velocity mode here. So still an ugly situation. Okay, this has not come down at all. I would have to think that they are going to be continuing that warning into downtown New Orleans. It looks like we have... It's a marine warning. I'm on the wrong. Let me check the other radar here. Looks like we have a tornado debris signature in Mississippi. I don't see it popping up on the map. Let me get... The watch is off. If you are just joining us, tornado outbreak underway and likely to continue for the next several hours. In purple here, this is where we have a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. I am going to turn that off. We're looking for the purple. Let's see if we can find... There was talk about a tornado debris signature. Oh, yeah, and then right off the bat here, north of New Orleans, too, this is embedded supercells. So this could get ugly. We have a supercell here. Supercell here. The supercell south of New Orleans. So we are in it right now. In New Orleans. This is... unfortunately, our time here, and this is going to be the most dangerous part of your day if you are watching around New Orleans as we continue to have this line of storms that is just slowly moving, and we almost have that kind of string of pearls set up, as we call it. They're kind of conjoined here. If I turn on the velocity mode to look at the way the wind direction is going, you can see some of that rotation here a little bit better. We have it right here. All right, so we're going to, while we are waiting here, we do have the issuance now of an observed tornado. And this is the one that we were just looking at near Lumberton. So this has a confirmed tornado to it. Sorry for bouncing around. Let me find the best radar, and that is going to be out of Slidell. In and around Wiggins. Let me turn on the correlation coefficient to see if we can find the debris. And there it is. That is the radar lofting up debris right in here. We can inspect that further by switching back to the velocity mode and then turning on the telestration. It's right in where you would look, so it's not any kind of side lobe contamination. That is the breakdown there of doing that as well. Oh, man. And unfortunately, media report coming in from WWL that there has been a fatality that's out of New Orleans in St. Charles Parish. So already a reported fatality according to a live interview from the parish president. Just awful. And that was, I believe that was the one that we were watching earlier. Let me zoom out and see. Stop it. I'm talking to my stupid telestrator. Let me zoom out. I think that was in this near Laplace and near Norco, where you're seeing those damage reports come in right there, those two little tornado icons. Yeah, that was with the one that we were watching for. Unfortunately, that moved just north of Norco, south of Laplace. All right, so we continue to have this really nasty looking storm. I'm going to put a timer on there. Remember, the time here popping up is in Eastern time. So New Orleans at about 3:58 Central time. This storm is going to be close to you. Now, we don't have a warning just yet. I would imagine that very soon the National Weather Service is going to extend that warning to include downtown New Orleans. It doesn't yet, but I would imagine that they are going to have to extend that. I'm with you. Virginia. Just awful. I mean, you hate to see that. We were just literally talking about that being sobering, that you know that tornado is going through a neighborhood. And unfortunately, again, according at least to a news outlet there from a live interview in the National Weather Service chat room, that there has been a fatality with that tornado that we were tracking. Just awful stuff. Just awful stuff. All right, let's see here. Going back. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm completely with you. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Right, we had the fatality, the mother and son last night, heartbreaking. And then another one today, and I'm hoping that we see no more, but unfortunately this outbreak is going to continue through the evening. It really does. I mean, sobering is the word here. All right, so we are still waiting to see here, as we are unfortunately in this active so now it looks like, let me see here. Okay, so in Hattiesburg, it looks like there's a lot of flooding right here. It looks like there's a lot of flooding in Hattiesburg on the north side of the city. Some unconfirmed reports of a lot of water coming in. Just saw that through the National Weather Service chat. So if you are driving around Hattiesburg, be very, very careful in that area. So it's actually what we have going on now. It's typically we are dry and warm in a La Nina. Your El Nino year is typically your bigger year for wintertime tornadoes, because we do have the enhanced subtropical jet stream. It's like the opposite. In hurricane season, I mean, again, it only takes one, of course. We all know that. But the season as a whole is typically lighter anyway, in an El Nino year, because we have a more active subtropical jet. Hurricanes, tropical systems, they do not like the wind shear. They get kind of torn up. In a La Nina year, that is backed off a little bit. Severe thunderstorms need the wind shear to keep the updrafts co-located from the downdrafts. If you have the updraft and downdraft in the same area, the storm chokes out very quickly. And then if there's enough of the wind shear, kind of like what we were seeing today, then they spin, then they can produce the very, very devastating tornado. So it is weird that we are seeing this. Certainly it's possible. One of the things that is going on, and I highlighted this in one of my videos, I think last week, when we were talking about a round of cold coming through, that in the middle of December, we were going to turn really, really active. And that is because we have a huge ridge out near Alaska. We have a huge ridge out over Greenland. We call that the Greenland block. And that allows the jet stream to be really, really wavy. And when we have a wavy jet stream like that, we have these dips in the jet stream, those troughs. That supplies the cooler air. It helps to pull up the warmth from the Gulf of Mexico. And we get kind of like what we are seeing today, unfortunately. All right, so it looks like they may have taken the observed tag away from that storm in. And then we're going to go back down to New Orleans. So if anybody's watching from New Orleans, south of New Orleans could be forming. Yeah. No, I'm with you there, my friend. This is going to be really concerning. I don't know why. And before I say that, because my other map is a little slower to... Okay, so here we go. Tornado warning is coming for Jefferson and New Orleans, including parts of New Orleans. Jefferson and Orleans County coming up. That's from the National Weather Service chat. You'll see that pop up here in official, and it should be coming momentarily. It was just issued. This is going to be a tornado was storm capable of producing a tornado near Avondale, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. So you saw that go away. You're going to see a new one pop up here. But a very strong tornado vortex signature still right in here, moving in that direction. We should at any minute see that warning populate on the map. And there you go. So now this is going to include downtown New Orleans. So again, everything out there is bad. This is basically worst case scenario. Again, we don't have a confirmed tornado on the ground. Phones are chirping. So those warnings are going out. Officially a tornado warning for New Orleans. Again, we don't have... This is not a confirmed tornado. It doesn't matter. The rotation is very, very tight. It is very, very strong. We're going to get real close in here now. And we're going to look to see if there is any debris. Let me just make sure that this isn't it. It probably is some contamination right there. I hope it's some contamination. Yikes. I mean, it's in the right area. Hold on. All right, so there are a little bit of signals here that this is trying to tighten up even further. Let me see. Let me get my telestration off. Let me move a little further. Let's see here. I see we have some new people on the stream. Welcome if you are just joining in. We are about 2.5 hours into a major tornado outbreak in the Deep South. If you could do me a favor, if you are finding this content helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It'll help YouTube push this out more to get to more people. Of most pressing matters right now is if you know of anybody in and around New Orleans. We have a tornado warning that does include New Orleans. Not confirmed, but it is a very, very tight couplet, tornado vortex signature right here. So we could be in the process of seeing a tornado develop before our eyes. We're watching this closely as, again, if this thing were to touch down, this would go right through the southeast side of downtown New Orleans. So again, we've broken 2 myths today that a tornado can't cross a river. We saw one cross the Mississippi and then do damage. And we saw, potentially here, one go into New Orleans as well. We still have it here. It looks like it may have weakened slightly. Going to check back up on the correlation coefficient. It looks like we might have debris. It matches up here. So you see there's the hook echo right in here. Let me turn on the velocity mode. We're just inspecting this in real time here. There is a very powerful tornado vortex signature, very strong couplet. And then let me go back to the correlation coefficient. Right in that area, we are seeing the dropout in correlation coefficient. I believe that we have this tornado actually on the ground now. And I am going to check to see... Okay, so the National Weather Service out of New Orleans just posted in chat here. Tornado warning storm over Jefferson Parish starting to tighten. It may try to produce a tornado soon. I think it already is. I really do think it already is. That was as of 4 minutes ago, so it might now. So again, if you can do me if you know anybody Just got a warning on your phone. We're going to go check out Hattiesburg for you. And we're going to stay, of course, I'll have the other radar looking at New Orleans. We're going to go back up to Hattiesburg. Is that like your 6th of the day? Was that a flash flood warning? Sometimes. Yes. Okay. So the good thing is it's not a tornado warning. So that's probably here your flash flood warning. No. You're okay. You're okay. I just wanted to make sure we didn't have one spin up. Those are really the two things that are going to trigger those alerts on your phone, especially the government ones there. A flash flood warning because that is life-threatening. And there's the source, the emergency manager, showing that multiple streets flooded in the city of Hattiesburg. Multiple cars have stalled out. So, again, if anyone's watching from Hattiesburg, we do have that flash flood warning in play. Let me get that flash flood warning turned on for you. That's the green color there that you see on your screen. I'm with you. I do think the worst is coming to an end, just a little while longer, and then we're going to see this kind of wind down a little bit. But boy, if you're driving, please, please, please be careful, buddy, because this is ugly. For the new people just joining, of most concern right now is this, and I'm very surprised that they've not gone observed with this yet. I do think this tornado south of New Orleans is on the ground according to correlation coefficient, which is the tornado debris signature. Let's do another reanalysis as the radar just kind of updated here. Here is New Orleans. Here is that hook. Let's turn on the velocity again to see the direction of the winds. It is still very, very tight. And then let's take a look at all right, let's see. So welcome to all of the new viewers on here. If you are new to finding us, we track all things weather on this channel. If you enjoy talking and tracking the weather, we would love to have you in the weather community. Please hit that subscribe button. And if you don't want to subscribe, at least if you could please hit that thumbs up for me, that sends this video out to a little more, to more people, so that this can get into, more people's feeds, so that they can watch it and so they can kind of pass this along. Again, if you know anybody in New Orleans, this is a very dangerous situation. It's not confirmed. I think it touched down at least for a little bit. We did see the tornado debris signature pop up right in that area again. And the same area that would be consistent with where we would see debris during a tornado. I'll turn on the regular radar again. That kidney bean shape. That is your supercell thunderstorm. It's drifting to the east side of New Orleans, Algiers, Gretna, Harvey. We are all under that tornado warning. If you know, again, anybody in this area, please give them a call. Again, they're just a few minutes away from seeing a tornado-warned storm move through downtown New Orleans. There's more damage reports coming in from Mississippi. So they continued. They did not issue the observed tag on that. So they're not convinced that it is on the ground. I think it did touch down for a brief time. We saw the debris on radar. regardless. All right, so there's the update of the tornado warning. Let's get back to, and again, this is a very powerful storm. So my buddy Rich, if you are still watching this live stream, and I know you have all of the streams from the local news on as well, this is about to get really ugly in New Orleans. So really, really strong wind again away from the radar, moving in that direction, and then very strong winds moving toward the radar in that direction. There is the tornado vortex signature. There completes the circulation, and then this is moving right back up into here. I mean, this is going to go through downtown New Orleans. If this holds together and produces a tornado, this is going to be ugly. Again, we are approaching they are approaching the tornado from the southwest to the northeast. Algiers, Gretna, Harvey, Westwego, Broadmoor, downtown New Orleans. Safe place now. There is a very, very strong indication here. There's a very tight tornado vortex signature getting ready to come on in. We're just minutes away now from the strongest part of this storm moving into downtown New Orleans. The potential is there for this to produce a tornado at any moment if there's not one on the ground already. I'm going to look back over here. I'm going to check to see if there are any reports, if there are any storm chasers, in fact, on there. I don't see any chasers out on this particular storm to give us any kind of ground truth. At the very least, and yeah, I just, another meteorologist had also noted the tornado debris signature that we saw. So I don't know why the National Weather Service did not up the language on this, because we may have a tornado on the ground on the southeast side of New Orleans. Let's see if that is still the case. Let's go to our correlation coefficient. We're still getting that blue popping up. Very, very strong. I mean, this is now getting in. Boy, we are over Harvey. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. This is about to cross the Mississippi River. If you're familiar with this part of New Orleans. Again, if you are just joining us, welcome to the chat. We're watching a tornado warning go right through downtown New Orleans. This could be on the ground. There were certainly indications that this touched down and caused some damage just to the southwest of the city. I would love to know where you're watching from, whether you are tuning in from the tornado outbreak area or just anywhere else around the world. Please post that in the comments. If you are finding this information helpful, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you in this weather community. All right, I am, again, fairly convinced that we have a tornado on the ground in just south. Yeah, oh my goodness. Look at this thing. All right, we are seeing now TDS over Harvey right now. So again, what we saw was true. Okay, so we weren't crazy here. Again, I've studied this long enough to know I don't know what the National Weather Service was doing here by not issuing that confirmed tornado tag. There is a tornado on the ground producing damage, getting ready to go into downtown New Orleans. This is extremely serious. Let me get back to the other radar. I don't know. I don't know, but there is a tornado debris signature. There's a debris ball. We have everything. This thing is on the ground. The Weather Service out of New Orleans now also saying what we've been talking about here, that we have a tornado debris signature on radar. Again, you don't need a storm chaser anymore to confirm when there's a tornado. So damage being reported in Harvey, moving into Gretna. Let me take you back into the other one. They still have not. I mean, this is extremely serious. Let me pull out the other telestration here. It may not be as defined before that debris signature, but there it is. Here is downtown New Orleans. This is heading up in that direction. Again, we're getting live damage reports right on through here. If you know anybody in New Orleans, I mean, it's almost too late at this point. This thing is moving fast. This is extremely serious. Let me see if I can correct what is going on with this color table here. But boy, Gretna, we have that look. This thing is over Gretna, likely producing damage. Let me turn to very, very powerful winds here. Just getting ready to go into the French Quarter. So if you're familiar with the French Quarter, Mardi Gras, boy, this is not good. Algiers, you are up next, and not for a good thing. Gretna into Tarrytown, we're already having the strong winds. We may have had a tornado go through there. It looks like we do have reports of one going through Harvey, but nonetheless, we have very strong inflow winds now pushing through Terry, feeding this storm. Getting ready to cross over the Mississippi River. Here is the French Quarter again. I mean, downtown New Orleans. Again, we were talking about this, and there's still not the tag that that this is on the ground. But trust me, this thing is on the ground. It may lift every now and then, but this thing is on the ground. Again, if you know of anybody, New Orleans now, Algiers, this is right on top of us, Bywater. There is the lower 9th Ward, my friend. Here is the 9th Ward. It does look like we might be broadening out a little bit. There's the radar going toward, away. There's the wind going toward. Here is the North Ward. It looks like it's going to head up towards Bywater. It's going to be very, very close. Man, I remember that all too well as well. Algiers tornado alert, metropolitan area. Again, if you are finding this content informative, please give this a thumbs up on the YouTube feed to push this out. Again, we have a very dangerous situation, and I am just hoping that we had this lift. We know for a fact, judging on the radar data, that it was down on the ground here and likely caused some damage in and around Harvey as well. Let me take a look at. Boy, we still have the tornado debris signature. This thing is on the ground producing damage going through downtown New Orleans. I mean, this is about as breaking news as you can get in the weather world here. This is going to go through the east side of New Orleans. I'm trying to see as we watch this. Again, it's impacting the lower Garden District now. What is going on? So there is the purple. So now they have issued that observe tag. All right, so emergency management just reporting that Gretna Fire Department seeing the tornado on the ground at 4th Street and Hancock moving towards Algiers. We just talked about that on radar. Okay, so again, the radar, a very, very powerful tool. You can see it on the live shot on WDSU. Incredible. Incredible. So, boy, this is not good. High-res reflectivity. Let's go back to the velocity mode. Slidell in trouble. Let me check. I believe that they could be under the gun with this one. So Slidell, of course, is right up in here. Not in the short term. Maybe long term if the supercell over New Orleans right now holds together. But in the short term, there is nothing to be concerned about. but if this one continues on its path, it will be there. All right, we are watching the lower 9th Ward. Bywater, good afternoon. Again, if you are just tuning in, kind of the breaking news here, there's a tornado on the ground moving through downtown New Orleans, confirmed by a fire department, confirmed by damage, and confirmed by what we were just looking at here on radar. Here is the tornado debris signature. Here is Mid-City, New Orleans. There is the French Quarter, the famous French Quarter. So this tornado is going very, very close to the French Quarter. The lower 9th Ward, of course, unfortunately made famous by Hurricane Katrina. Gentilly Woods, this is an early heads up for you. Pine Village into Milneberg. I just don't know why the wait was so long to pull the trigger on this tornado warning. We were watching it all together here. And this is a very serious situation. If my friend Rich is still watching, he sent me several videos before they're down in the basement now. Let me see. The rain is crazy here. So they are doing the proper thing and being in the basement. All right, let's check some things out here. Let's go back to the velocity mode. All right, so it's hard to find out where the heck this thing is right now. It may be trying to cycle. Okay, so it looks like now we're going to fast forward here. We want to go back to the velocity. We've got it about right here. That's where we are seeing it. Let me turn on the reflectivity just to see if it matches up. Yep. And let's see if we are still seeing the debris. And it looks like that might be the lagging of my goodness. All right, let me check to see if there's any reports here. Okay, my friend just pointed out Araby here. This is where that famous video from last year, or back in March, went through. That video that you saw that was all over social media of the tornado that one morning, and we're back in there again. This is moving through St. Claude Heights. I still think that this thing is on the ground. Confirmed tornado. We still have the purple and the warning. Look at this. Okay, so downtown New Orleans, it looks like was spare. Look at the downtown areas right here. I'm going to back up to kind of show you where this thing, it moved in this general direction from Harvey. It was reported in Gretna, and now we're in Araby with the debris ball right here. So we still have a tornado on the ground just to the east of downtown New Orleans. There goes the radar update, and unfortunately the debris ball got thicker, as you might imagine, because it is picking up. It is picking up some serious debris. I want to show you this. You see this ball here? That is a debris ball. That is something, if you were watching the Weather Channel back in 2011 during the super outbreak that Dr. Greg Forbes made famous, when he was tracking in the same general area in Mississippi, certainly Alabama, debris falling on Canal Street. No one can see the tornado through the rain. It is certainly rain-wrapped. It really does have Tuscaloosa vibes. And thank you, Allie, for letting me know that as well. So, again, the radar, a powerful tool. I mean, we confirmed that here. NBC station there, WDSU again. Jonathan showing that as well. Has a good shot of the tornado. So it's good that, you can kind of put the video to what we are breaking down here on the radar, but a very serious situation. I want to take you back now to the other radar that is going through. And again, here is the debris signature. So St. Claude Heights, Patricia Street, It was. I'm texting my friend right now. I think he's still in the live chat as well. Mentioned Arabi. I'm horrible with these pronunciations in Louisiana. Arabi, I believe it is. That's where that video was from. And here is Arabi right here. And again, just going right through that. Now this damaging tornado is moving through St. Claude Heights. So one of the things that we are going to see, and that's how we determine, unfortunately, if it is still on the ground, is if this debris signature gets worse. Again, we were watching this as it came across the Gulf of Mexico, came on shore. We thought this could be the one of the afternoon because it was by itself, unlike some of the ones that were kind of congealed in Mississippi. And unfortunately, that may be turning out to be true. We have damage reports where this went through. We still have the tornado on the ground itself. Let me check in with the National Weather Service chat again. Not reporting anything else. If you are just joining us, welcome to the live feed. Thank you so much for finding us again. The breaking news is that we do have a strong tornado likely moving through the eastern side of New Orleans right now. This hook is still evident. I'm going to check. So here's the deal. This may be debris falling out of the sky. In strong tornadoes, downwind, I know that Jonathan mentioned about debris falling on Canal Street. That could be it. Hey, good morning, sir. How are you? Welcome to the live stream. Again, if you are finding this information informative, thank you for tuning in the live stream. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. If you are finding us for the first time, we are tracking this awful tornado outbreak in the Deep South, specifically the breaking news here of a major tornado on the ground just to the east of New Orleans. If you are finding this content informative, please give this a thumbs up. It helps YouTube realize what this content is and pushes it out to more people. And if you are enjoying this and love talking and tracking the weather and you just happen to stumble upon us, welcome. We would love to have you on board in our weather community as we talk and track the weather together. And everybody that has been with us today through the duration of this tornado outbreak has been super helpful. As I've been working through the radar, you guys have been awesome at giving some of the reports to kind of help tell this weather story and to really help alert people that are ahead of this. Because I can only do kind of one thing here, go through the different channels and then look at the chat. So you guys have been awesome. I appreciate your help and appreciate the support here. So thank you so much again for being part of this community, this weather team that we are building here on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up for me and help us to grow and join us. All right, so awful situation here, continuing to shift gears. Here's another one. This is the one that we've been watching for a little while as well. We've got more coming up in Grand Isle. There's another one. Another one. Who's the guy that says another one all the time? Is that a... DJ Khaled. I'm trying to add some humor. I know I'm not very funny. The good news is, okay, in Mississippi, we've not checked on you in a while. We do have a flash flood threat going on. So that is something that's going to continue. The good news is we don't have any active tornado warnings anymore. Same deal for western Alabama. So that is good. All right, I made somebody laugh. Or laughing at me. The good news is in Mississippi, we don't have any active tornado warnings. So that is good. We have one tornado warning, and that is this behemoth of a cell that is now northeast of New Orleans. So, Ethan, again, we're going to be watching this for your family in Slidell. Let me go back to the other radar. So, okay, here we go. There is Slidell at the very top of your screen. Here is where... Let me just... Yikes. Yeah, I'm seeing that video now. This is the first time I'm looking. So there's, I just saw the tornado on video there from before. Okay, so, and I think this is what it is here. I was just reading some of the comments on thing. This is another, and this is one of the determinations on this, why this is a really strong tornado and why I'm fairly confident this is going to be a strong tornado. Jonathan mentioned before about the debris falling on Canal Street. I just saw some of the reports and some of the video of that happening as well. Right down in here, I'll remove your name so that I can show you. I'm going to zoom in real quick. Let me turn all this junk off. This is where, so Chef Mentor, Rich, if you're still with me, please correct me on that pronunciation. This is where the main debris is. All these different colors here are some of that debris that was falling on Canal Street, now falling downwind of the tornado. This was a very significant tornado that just went through the east side of New Orleans and in the same area that was hit by that EF3 tornado just last March. This is ugly. Minotaur. Thank you, sir. My friend Rich, coming into the clutch. Chef Minotaur, we are likely seeing the debris falling from the sky here from the tornado back off towards our south and west. Hey, what's going on in Stewart, Alabama? Thank you so much for hopping on board and finding out this weather information. Again, we're going to be up a little bit later. Just ran into my microphone. Welcome to, see, we have a few new people on. In Columbus, Mississippi. I think that's a good call. Let me check that on the other map. And I want to say that's the north. There you go. There you are. The radar has to load, but we're going to check in right exactly where you are. Yeah, so you would still be in the PDS watch, I believe. We're going to turn that back on. Oh, I'm wrong. You are just outside of the PDS watch. So it looks like, for the most part, the severe threat has ended there for you. But I still think that is a very good spot to stop, because here we go again, of course, in Columbus. And then I believe you said you were heading towards Selma in that direction. You would have to cross that, and you would be meeting up with some of these cells that would still have the potential to spin. Overall, I still think things are looking a little better, but the environment is just so primed. And even the strong winds, in the truck, not a good thing. So I think that's a good thing. I think you'll be at least out of the severe stuff for the rest of your evening. Still some nasty rain, gusty winds as well. So we have some new people on the channel. Welcome. Thank you so much for finding us again. Please give this a thumbs up if you are finding this informative. It helps YouTube push this out to more people. If you love talking and tracking the weather, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you on board. That blinky purple stuff there, that is the PDS Tornado Watch. That is east of Jackson. And that, again, Jackson, we are done with the severe weather threat. Raleigh, in Forest, Mississippi, we are done with the severe weather threat, although we are still in the watch. Eventually, the Weather Service will pull that back down. They're just a little busy right now. You've got it. And again, thank you for everything. I appreciate you in the reports, and I'm glad you are staying safe through this. Going to go up. So again, if you are just joining us, we have busted 2 myths tonight. Busted 2 tornado myths tonight, or this afternoon. The one was that they don't cross rivers. That is a big myth. They do cross rivers. We saw that happen twice now. It crossed the Mississippi into New Orleans. The second one was that they don't impact major cities. Well, we just saw New Orleans get impacted by that too. Also, I can't remember the year, but downtown Atlanta was hit by a tornado. EF2, I believe. It blew out a lot of the windows in the GM building that is there. All right, so let's get back at it. Reflectivity, Chef Minotaur, it looks like the storm is out of the warning area. Yeah, this does look like pretty bad damage in Friscoville. Thank you so much, Jonathan. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you for posting that in here. I can't look at all of the damage reports that are out there since we're focused on the active tornado warning. So I appreciate you putting that in the chat. And if anybody is watching, if you have seen stuff, please post that in the chat. Please let me know where you are watching from this afternoon or evening, depending where you are watching from. I would love to know where you're watching from. The good news is that this has lost a lot of its punch. Now, this has lost a lot of its punch. We're going to go back down to the Slidell radar to get a good look in at New Orleans. If you're just joining us, welcome. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. It is good to meet you, and it is I'm hate that we're meeting under these circumstances. So here we go again. I want to show you this. It's not tornadic right now, but this is another really nasty storm, and I do think that there probably should be a severe thunderstorm warning on this. Let me check the velocity. It's right here, getting ready to push back into New Orleans. This is a bow echo. And a lot of times on the north end side of this, we can get, like, that's a significant storm. Let me check. Nope, I want this. So yeah, just coming out of New Orleans, we have 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts being reported there. But this thing right here, this is what we call a bow echo. Let me get this stupid thing off. Notice this bow right here? It's right in here where really strong winds push right on through. And then this little guy here, that's a little rotating head there. And sometimes we can get a quick spin-up tornado. It's not going to be like the tornado that just went east of New Orleans, but obviously can still produce some damage. There goes the official And right on cue, Allie. Look at that. The storm report just popped up. She mentioned about the videos on Twitter showing that large wedge tornado going through Chalmette. And there is that official storm report there, the icon over Araby in St. Bernard Parish. The damage being reported to the buildings there. So likely significant damage because we saw the debris being lofted there. Here we go again. Here we go again. Off to the south and east of New Orleans, we have a very ugly looking supercell thunderstorm. It has that look. This is crazy. It's just like, okay, it looks like you might be able to get a break, and then it pulses back up again. This is a supercell thunderstorm. This needs to be warned on. There is rotation there. There's got to be a tornado warning coming soon. The good news is the tornado warning that, I mean, look at all the damage reports. These are just preliminary here. So this is exactly where it went through. And again, we saw it here, guys, before the National Weather Service did. Okay, we were tracking this alongside everybody, and we saw that tornado debris signature. We confirmed right here, our little channel, everybody watching, and thanks to you guys to all the reports and stuff as well, that we confirmed that tornado and were able to give, hopefully, people that were watching close by some of that heads-up information. So thank you guys for all of your help. Perry and Greene County issued tornado warning. That's likely the one that we were just talking about here. And I know that they are super, super busy at the Weather Service and doing a good job as always. I see we have a bunch of new people on the stream. Thank you so much for finding us. Thank you for tracking the weather with us. Thank you for all the reports. I would love to know where the new guys and new gals coming in are tuning in from. Please post that in the comments. I'm going to go back to the other radar now. The good news is that tornado has been allowed to expire. So for Ethan, if you are still watching us, you mentioned he had family in Slidell. That has been allowed to expire, that tornado warning. So some relative good news there after what was a very ugly and very destructive hour that we were watching this push on through. Awesome, you're still here. Thanks, buddy. Good job. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm glad. Not completely out of the woods just yet, but there is no active warning. That cell bit the dust after it unfortunately caused a lot of damage just outside of downtown New Orleans. My buddy Rich is saying here comes round 2, and I think he's referring to this thing here. I mean, New Orleans is just getting hammered. This is just crazy. Just crazy. We're watching to see if this one... Let me turn off the watches again so we can see things a little better. That purple stuff gets in the way. Let me turn on the velocity. Next Rad Pro. Go back to the base. I don't know why there's not a tornado warning issued for this. We have a lot of spin, unless I'm missing something, unless my computer has not updated here, but it has been doing a very good job of kind of showing us where. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to criticize the people at the National Weather Service. I won't do that. I know a lot of people do. There should be a warning on this, especially in the environment that these cells are in. With the PDS watch, when it looks like this on the velocity, and it looks like you mentioned that look. That is a textbook supercell thunderstorm. We saw the rotation with that. There needs to be a tornado warning on this. Let me go back to the other radar here. This is kind of what we're seeing in and around Hopedale. If you know anybody living around Hopedale, there's no tornado warning on this cell. This could produce a tornado at any moment. Hey, Lisa and Marty, what's going on in Athens, Georgia? Thank you so much again for tuning back in. Do watch out tomorrow. That's when your severe threat is up. I'm going to be at work all day tomorrow watching the severe threat for Florida, down the Florida Peninsula, and we're going to be up in the late morning and early afternoon. So we're going to be tracking that for Central Florida. But you guys are going to be up in the morning, so watch that. Okay, in the short term, Hopedale, St. Malo, we are up. I do think, thankfully, though, in Athens, or in Georgia, I should say, the worst of the weather should be to your south. And if you stick around for a little bit, I will show you the future radar to get you into tomorrow. We'll look at the progression of this line of thunderstorms and take you out into the future here. I'm just waiting to see if they are going to issue a tornado warning on this thing. Unless I am missing something. Absolutely. I keep on checking the feed from the chat. I'm getting the radar data, and all my data says that it's current from the sweeps. So making sure that I'm not suffering like a data outage or something. Maybe they're just not issuing on it because it is in a remote area and it is going to go back over. I mean, maybe that's why. Because, again, it's going to go back over the bays there. And yeah, like you said, that's got to be why. That's got to be why. Again, I'm not familiar with this part of Louisiana, but yeah, that is swampy stuff. So that's probably why they have an issue. They obviously know that area better than I do. Thank you, Jonathan, for that report. Allie said, saw something on Twitter that this crossed paths with the March 2022 tornado. It's hard to, I called it last year. It's hard to believe that was this year, just earlier. It's nuts. Yeah, and my buddy Rich just texted me too. He said mostly marshland. That's got to be why. So that's got to be why. Because that was certainly worth a tornado warning, but nobody's there. Except the Gators. Except some Gators. So that's all that would have been impacted by that area. Let's check this out. And I'll show you again, that storm report was right in here. That's where the March of 22 tornado went, pretty much right where that touchdown was, it touched down a little bit further south of there, but it came back up. Let's see here. Okay, so Ham in New Orleans reports, a ham radio operator, reports there is tornado damage in the area of Huey P. Long Bridge. So, Rich, I'm talking to you if you know where that is. I don't know. Shoot me a text. With power lines down and vehicles flipped over. So that storm report coming in from New Orleans area, again, just to the east. So that is, it takes a significant tornado to do damage like that. Okay, so west of downtown. Okay. That's still an ugly cell. I know there's nobody really around there, but boy. I hope that nobody's just hanging out in the marsh. Again, I don't know this area well. It's certainly, again, according to a couple of people here that know the area well. I don't know if people go to visit this place. I don't know. I don't know this area of Louisiana well. Rich, thank you for that picture there. I am just trying to see. Fruitdale, Yellow Pine, and State Line need to look out. Aren't issued warnings, but probably soon. I am Googling what Shell Beach is about. If anybody is from New Orleans or around that part, okay, so my friend Reg, Shell Beach is all fishing huts. I would still think like there are roads here that people could be driving on. Like I would still think that there would be. So they issued a special marine warning on it for water spouts, which again, tornado over water. I don't know. Even if like in our Central Florida viewing area in Osceola County, we have farm country down, especially if anyone's familiar with Yeehaw Junction. A lot of times we get tornado warnings in that part. They're still issued because it still can cross a road, and there are certainly roads here no matter how populated it is. I don't know. I'm kind of baffled by that. That is a very strong tornado vortex signature that's in and around that fishing area here of Shell Beach and crossed a road. Again, I don't know much about this area, but I'm just a little surprised. Lisa, thank you so much for that. The long railroad and road bridge west of New Orleans. I appreciate you. Thank you very, very much for posting that in. Again, this very tight couplet is moving over St. Malo, and then it's going to be out into the back out over to the water there, and that's not going to hurt anybody unless you have a boat out, which I hope you don't. Effectively now, our severe weather threat is really winding down in New Orleans, in Mandeville, in Slidell, in Golden Meadow. We're going to watch these things in and around Grand Isle. Let's see. Do we have... Hold on. Are we tornado warning free? Nope. Nope. Thought we were going to do it. We have one tornado warning now in Mississippi. We are going to head back up into Mississippi, and we're going to watch that one that's crossing the water now to see if that one holds, and hopefully it falls apart. Let's go check in. I have to switch my radars. Where are we? Where is Jackson? We're going to go back to the Jackson, Mississippi radar. That one little flashing red polygon, that is where we have that tornado warning in effect. It's going to be closer to Mobile. We're going to go to the Mobile. I need to get my bearings straight there. We're going to head to the Mobile, Alabama radar site now. That's going to give us our closest look at this McLean tornado warning. Get real in there. I'm going to switch over to velocity. That is not pretty. Come on, can we get a break here? So my friend Rich texted me and said he went fishing there this summer. So it is my hope that obviously nobody was fishing there. It's, almost 5 o'clock in the evening Central Time. But still, if a tornado warning was issued there, it would have gone off on anybody's phone there. I don't know. I'm puzzled by it. regardless of the population there, there should have been a warning on it. I mean, even if it's just cows or gators, like there should have been a warning on that. Plaquemine Parish reporting power out, heavy lightning in the area of Bell Chase. Live stream is up. If you are just joining us, again, we have one tornado warning. This could be maybe the break. Again, we do have a PDS tornado watch in effect until 8 o'clock. All right, so state line on the Alabama-Mississippi state line, we are going to be up for the potential for a tornado at 5:14 local time, 5:14 Central. This is going to be coming down the pipeline into your area. So again, keep that in mind over the next few hours, or at least 45 minutes or so. The good news is, and I'm going to kind of do that, and I hope that everybody is okay. Thank you, sir, for putting that into the chat. While we are kind of watching this, I mentioned that for our friends watching in Athens and for the rest of the night, because I think we're going to be signing off here in the next 10, maybe 20 minutes. Let me show you the progression here of this severe weather threat for the rest of tonight and into tomorrow. And again, I want to thank everybody for all of the reports, and for the people that just found the channel tonight. Welcome. All right, let me get into the right sector that I need for the model data. Just stand by, bear with me. I'm going to go right into the southeast. And I'm going to show you a couple of things. Geez, I have to log in. Come on. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that help. I really do. All right, stand by. I'm going to load back up my high-resolution radar, future radar, and of the southeast, as this is where it kind of goes into tomorrow. Where is the southeast? There's a lot of chiclets on here. I just had it, then I had to sign in. Technology. All right, so for those that are just joining the feed, we have one tornado warning near state line right along the Mississippi-Alabama border. That is our lone tornado warnings. We have quieted things down considerably. I am pulling up the high-resolution future radar to kind of give you a sense of what we can expect the rest of the evening and overnight. I just need to locate where the southeast is on this thing. I have found it. We are going to take this over to the next thing, and then we are going to time this out. I'm going to switch this view so it's a little bit further zoomed in. And as we go into the future, let me turn my telestration off so that I can control this. We're going to go to the 18Z. So here's where we stand. This is 7 o'clock tonight. This is going to be 6 o'clock Central. So the high-resolution future radar is doing a very nice job kind of tracking where the heaviest weather is going to be. This wants the blobby weather from Montgomery to Huntsville to Tupelo. According to this, that would suggest a much lower tornado threat. The higher tornado threat going into tonight looks like it might be south of Birmingham into Montgomery, into Mobile, and then into the panhandle of Florida. So now we're going to take this further out into the future overnight, and you see still nasty, nasty weather. This is what we're going to have to watch out for. This is now as we get into 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, about midnight Central, and it's the same kind of deal what we just dealt with in and around New Orleans. I do want to say that for the folks watching from Georgia and into Florida, eastern Alabama, the tornado threat is not zero, but it is certainly not as high as what we just dealt with in Texas and Oklahoma 2 days ago, in Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi last night, and then certainly what we've been freaking blitz with today. All of the dynamics are starting to lift back up into this area. So it is going to be pulling away as the cold front itself kind of sags off towards Florida and into southeast Georgia tomorrow. So I do want you to know that. But there is enough spin in the atmosphere to get something going tomorrow and early tomorrow morning. I would suspect, though, that we could have an ugly morning in and around Pensacola, Tallahassee, maybe towards Valdosta, again, southeast Georgia. So I'm going to take this out further into the future. This is 2 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Eastern. Oh, yeah, not to mention also, this is the storm that never ends up in the northeast here. There's a nice little freezing rain event going on into the Appalachian Mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, Laurel Highlands of Pennsylvania, into central PA as well before we crank out a lot of heavy snow up there. And then there comes the nasty weather. So this is 10 o'clock in the morning. This is 11 o'clock in the morning. This is noon on Thursday. This is 1 o'clock Eastern time. The main round of severe weather is going to push on through about the Orlando area. I think 1 to 2 o'clock. And the trend has been for this to kind of speed up a little bit. I mean, this is 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning in and around Gainesville. And then as we get toward 9, 10 o'clock in and around Ocala, about the Jacksonville area as well. And then fast forward, still that severe threat goes until about 1 or 2 o'clock. Then Tampa, we're going to have to watch the potential for a few supercells moving in off of the Gulf of Mexico, again, especially west of Orlando. And then really after about 1 or 2 o'clock, that severe threat really starts to wind down again. All the dynamics then go into creating a lot of heavy snow in the Northeast tomorrow. If you're watching, if you're tuning in from maybe the I-95 corridor, if you're looking for a big snowstorm, we're not going to get it in the big cities. That is going to be the difference. This is all going to be interior New England. I will show you that. We'll take a little trip up to the Northeast real quick as, again, we have finally quieted things down. And look at the ice and the pink there. Turn to some really heavy snow, and then just blast interior central PA and central New York into Vermont. But notice, again, the big cities, Boston, New York, Philly, missing out on this in terms of the snow. Oh, yeah, kind of tall. We do have to stick together, for sure. All right, we're going to take a look at that. You are right. It looks like it could be very, very cold for Christmas. I do have in my favorites the temperature anomaly map. Look at this. To kind of tease long range, this is going to be the focus of a video once we clear all this severe weather stuff. And it's my hope that I get my next White Christmas outlook out on Monday, the 19th. And then we're going to talk about the craziness that is going to ensue here. So I do want to show you here down the line. Look at this. Look at this cold. You are talking about on December 23rd, this purple area here, that is way too big. Stand by, please. You know, At this point, I wouldn't put it past us. Hoping it's clear on the 27th, traveling home to Boston through Atlanta. If all shakes out in time, I think that cold front will be passing through where you are by then, and then hopefully we have a nice big Arctic high pressure cell just hanging over most of the U.S., and it would be quiet. Again, that super long range, I'm going to have details, though, on all that in a little bit. In a few days anyway. We're going to look deep into that White Christmas thing, which Boston, we might miss out. Again, I don't know if you saw the White Christmas video, but I do think that any kind of snow is going to favor the interior over the next little bit. Anyway, I don't know if you can see some of these numbers, but right up here, eastern Montana, Wyoming, the Front Range, that purple there is 30 to 50 degrees below normal. Yeah, it's cold up in the upper Midwest and Northern Plains in December. Now take 50 degrees off of what they typically see in December. This Arctic outbreak is going to be massive as we get into the end. And then there comes that blast of cold air into Florida. Ethan, if you're still around, I mean, this is the European now 2-meter temperature anomaly of 20 to 30 degrees below normal. Our average high is about 74, 75. I think it drops down to, 70, low 70s by Christmas. They are definitely going to love Friday storm. And look how topsy-turvy it is, too. Look at the west warming up. We were just really, really cold from this system. This, I will say, and I'm going to take a closer look once we clear this big system. This is what you need, though, this pattern for a big storm to affect the I-95 corridor. Big ridge building, the Boise Ridge, as we call it, building in the west, the cold air coming down here, then we generate a big storm that just blasts the northeast with a ton of snow. Oh, it'll crush us. It will be even worse. So it's going to be cold again. This is going to be the focus on some of my future videos, some of my long form videos and shorts and stuff. So if you're interested in some of that longer range stuff, which I guess isn't that longer range because we're already into the mid. Who's playing in that this year? Oh my gosh. Do you know who's playing in that? Gosh, now I gotta Google that. And where are they playing it? Why don't I know that? While you're posting that in the comments, I'm just going to make sure that... See, and I was going to say, I thought it was Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh, so I'm a huge Penguins fan. And I was like, in the back of my head, I'm like, I think the Penguins are playing in that this year. That's terrible. I'm so brain dead. I've been up since about 2 o'clock in the morning, so my brain isn't working. But I was like, I think the Penguins are involved in that this year. I'm a huge Penguins fan. That's going to be cool. That's going to be cool. So I guess we'll be enemies for that day. Just for a little bit anyway. All right, so there's that tornado warning for Port Sulphur. Radar indicated. It doesn't look all that healthy. You're so right about that. You are so right about that. All in good fun. All in good fun. The Winter Classic is such a cool thing. I went to the one, it was a bad night, where Crosby got hit in the head by Steckel. I think that was the second big concussion. And I was at that one at Heinz Field where it rained. It was really, really warm, and the ice was all messed up. Okay, so also Panama City, Florida, we were talking about we had to watch some of those supercells that would be rolling on shore in the North Gulf Coast. We are seeing that as well already happen. So again, kind of the precursor here of potentially an ugly night. I would imagine that we're going to see a tornado watch. Probably not a PDS watch, but a tornado watch expand a little further east. We still have that tornado warning to the east of Hattiesburg, Mississippi as well. It does not include Hattiesburg. Let's take a look at this storm here in and around Panama City. Again, we have to wait for our thing to load, and then I promise I'll let you guys go. Hey, I want to thank you guys. We've been at this, and a lot of you have been with me for the start here since about we've been at this for 3.5 hours. So thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you for the reports. This is coming on shore around Laguna Beach. We might have a water spout. The rotation is not that strong, but again, strong enough to have a tornado warning included in that. Let's take a look at the one here. We're going to go back to the Slidell radar, Port Sulphur. They have a warning there. Not much around either. So I'm not sure. Don't know where my radar data is going. It doesn't look all that healthy there, but tornado warning again continues for Port Sulphur. That's going to get back out over the water. And then we're going to check out Hattiesburg here. And it's not looking, thankfully, all that healthy. I got to switch my radar over. This one's in a really bad spot to kind of inspect. Really, we can go back to the Mobile one. I think that's going to be the closest radar to get the best. To get the best view of. And then we're going to sign off for a while. Thank you, sir. And again, thank you so much for filling up the comments here. I'm glad. That means a lot. I'm glad it makes it not as scary. I know it's a scary thing. There was a lot of sobering moments that we kind of went through together tonight. And I just hope that we don't hear a lot of loss of life. Again, we have the one fatality that we know of that was west of New Orleans with that one cell that we were tracking together. So hopefully that's it. I'm glad that we were able to kind of make this in the conversation that everybody had. That's what I love about this channel, is that it's not only just us talking together, it's us talking to everybody in the stream, getting some of the reports coming in, helping people feel a little more calm, a little more comfortable as much as you can in a situation like this. So I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you found us. Thank you so much, Allie, again, as well, for all of those reports coming in, and I hope you have a great Christmas as well with the family and make it back safe. I'm sure we'll talk before then as well, but just in case things get busy for either one of us, again, we'll be posting more videos of what you can expect down the line as well. But thank you guys a ton. We're going to do one more check here of the Hattiesburg cell, and it looks like that nope, there it is right there. It's just kind of hidden because the velocity is red. There it is. Old Avira, that's where we have the cell, the rotation. It's kind of embedded in there. Let me just check the debris signature to make sure that we have nothing going on. No debris being lofted up. Again, I believe we're going to have 2 tornado warnings as I get ready to sign off. But again, thank you guys so much. Yeah, it's just about the all clear for you in Hattiesburg. Again, if you are out, you're still technically in that PDS tornado watch. That is likely going to come down. The worst of the weather is over for you. Just if you're out, be mindful of that flooding again that you told me about, and of course of the flash flood warnings that are in play. That may, I think that they're still in effect. Yeah. In Hattiesburg, so there's still some flooding around the city. So please be careful for that. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in, for hanging out with us for a little more than 3.5 hours. I appreciate all of you. If you are new to the stream, again, we track and talk all things weather together. As a lot of you guys said in the chat too, it helps to have the comfort thing. And that's my ultimate goal. Obviously, the weather is serious, and especially when it gets to be like this. But there's a lot of garbage and there's a lot of hype out there that is there for just clicks and just hype and just kind of that fear generation. And I hate that. It is the main reason why I started this channel, and I'm so glad to have found you guys and blessed to be talking to you guys tonight. So hopefully we don't have to do this again a while. Again, the severe weather risk, talking anyway, not with this stuff. The severe weather risk does continue for one more day, overnight tonight, into Alabama, parts of Georgia, to the panhandle of Florida, and then tomorrow into the Florida Peninsula. And then we are done with this round of severe weather. Next couple of videos, just to give you a little bit of a teaser, I'm going to try to get one done that focuses on the Northeast snow. I don't know if I'll have time to do that one because of just we're tracking all the severe weather, but it's going to be that blast of cold that we kind of alluded to that's coming down the pipeline just before Christmas. Again, if you are finding us for the first time, I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. It's great to meet you. Please hit that subscribe button if you love talking and tracking the weather. I can do that in a great growing weather community. And please give this a thumbs up. It lets YouTube know that it's a credible stream. And the next time around this happens, and hopefully it's not for a long time, it will get pushed out to more people so that we can get that potentially life-saving information out to all those who may stumble upon the stream. Good night, and enjoy the snow that's coming to the Poconos tomorrow. Stay safe. Good night, everybody. Good night. Again, stay safe. The severe weather threat is not over. Have a way to get your warnings in eastern Mississippi, east of Hattiesburg, into Alabama, panhandle of Florida, and southwest Georgia. Please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. We will catch you next time. Thanks so much, guys. Enjoy your evening. I love it. Mrs. Whiplash. She'll be coming home from work in a little bit. Probably about an hour. I'll let her know you said that, though. She was kind enough to let me get on the live stream tomorrow. She hung out. She hung out in the house last night, and then I didn't want to wake her up because we were up until 11 o'clock last night, tracking last night's round. So I lived in the Midwest, and I had that Midwestern goodbye. I keep on saying that. I'm gonna let you go, and then we are doing that again. Just a heads up, this is looking concerning. Gulfport, Biloxi. If you know anybody living there, give them a heads up. We have a tightening tornado vortex signature that is starting to get a little bit of that look towards Gulfport and Biloxi. Let your friends know there if you have anybody in those two areas as that cell comes through. Have a great night. Thank you guys so much. It was great talking to you. Appreciate all you. Please be safe.